Sisters, daughters, my sister, two, senior students of
It's what we budgeted. It's our budget versus we'll never get 100%.
available situation. City and county. So I tell you, tell the contract that you buy. Make sure you get a survey so that you know how people have done some work.
No. I don't see how. Very bad. It was the city. We got a little.
We call this meeting to order. This is a regular meeting of the City of Callaway Board of Commissioners. It is Tuesday, June 23rd, 2026. It's 6 p.m. If y'all would stand with me, Commissioner Pelletier with the presentation. Commissioner Ayers, please lead us in the pledge.
Lord, we thank you for our gathering today, and we pray for your guidance in making decisions for our city and citizens. We thank you for our first responders, and we ask you to bless them and their families. Please keep them safe and let them go home at the end of their shift. We thank you for our citizens and employees that make Callaway a great place to live, and we pray you bless them with peace and success. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
City clerk, please do the roll call.
Commissioner Burkhardt.
Here.
Commissioner Green.
Here.
Commissioner Pelletier.
Here.
Commissioner Ayers.
Here, ma'am.
Mayor Henderson.
Here. Okay, we have a presentation tonight. Tim Laguerre, would you like to come up and do the honors?
Mayor and Commissioners, I'd like to introduce you to our LAX FC Football Club. It's a first for Callaway. We've been working with them, I guess, a little over a year, but they are a semi-pro football club, and they're also putting together pro teams currently. So I'll let Sacklin get up and tell you a little bit about it, and he'd like to make a presentation to the commission. So.
Good evening, everyone there, Commissioner, and all those in attendance.
Would you speak in the mic so everybody can hear you?
Good evening, Commissioners, Mayor,
Thank you.
and all those in attendance. Thank you for having us first and foremost. It's an absolute pleasure. My family and I, we moved there about 2 years ago. We fell in love with the city, and you know, sometime against my will, my wife forced me to stay here. But I fell in love with it too. We came here with a vision. We had just the idea of creating a first semi-pro team and professional team for men and women. And we pitched that idea, and Callaway took us in. We made it our home, and today we stand as the first and only semi-professional team and professional soccer team in Callaway. It's also a first for Callaway. No neighboring city has this setup. We have a full professional team, a full semi-professional team, both men and women. Last year we represented Callaway all the way in Arkansas, Oklahoma division, which fortunately for us, it was our debut season and we had major success, finishing second in the entire regular season, and also making it to playoffs. Unfortunately, I don't know what this is in Fahrenheit, but we went and played in -6 degrees over in Arkansas. And unfortunately, our Florida boys could not manage that at all. And so we took home second place, but it's still such great accomplishment, especially in our debut season. You know, you guys welcome us in this city. As a foreigner myself, and you showed us nothing but love and belief. You know, our slogan for women's team, it says, for those who believe. Unfortunately, we were welcome in a city that believed in us, that helped us do it, and have this amazing partnership. For us, this is not just Callaway providing a soccer field for us. This is much more, it's much deeper than that. It's the people that come out here every day and help us, that cheer for us. I mean, we planned our first game and we were expecting about 15 to 20 people. And I counted, and by the day finished, we had about 200 to 300 people come through. So a massive success for us. It goes beyond soccer as well. I mean, we did our first partnership with the city of Callaway for Christmas in Callaway, where we gave away over 200 toys to kids, and it was such a beautiful event. You know, everyone again embraced us, and we're happy for our part that we could play in this wonderful city. We love this city with everything else. You know, we've had now players coming in from all over the world, from England, from Italy, from Jamaica, from Antigua, from Ghana, from Cayman, most of whom even represent their national team. That's the attraction now that we're bringing into the city, and that is because, again, the city, according to our logo, our slogan, sorry, for those who believe, they believed in us, you believed in us, every single one of you. Just meeting something for the first time, but I know you guys support us, and that's what's happening now for us. I don't want to focus too much on international. Just locally here, I mean, Callaway Youth have an amazing soccer program, and this just complements it. Now they have a semi-pro outlet and a professional outlet, and we've started with that already. Our very own local talent, Hayden Hosberg, which we picked up from recreational over in Callaway, and he now serves as a semi-professional player on our team, playing and training with us and making appearances. He's now officially registered with US Soccer and a FIFA ID and everything. So now when I spoke to parents when I initially moved to America, and I asked, like, why don't we have a soccer team in Callaway? Well, what's going on? Why did you stop at high school? And almost every parent said to me, they just can't afford to move to Orlando because that's where the soccer is. And now proudly today, we as a city, we have a semi-pro and a professional team where they can go all the way. Today I have with me one of our most valuable players, with a worth of over $4 million Jamaican dollars, and we've attracted him in the city as well. He's 25 years old. He played professionally for over 6 years now, so he's been a professional since he was 19 years old. He started with us down in Jamaica. He played for 5 years in the Jamaican Premier League. He went to England for a season and played with Atherton FC. He went to Belize for tryout, and in the end, he chose to come here to our home, the city of Callaway, to live and play with us and continue to develop this sport. Again, it's just an amazing, amazing pleasure. I think I say to Tim and Caleb probably every day, there's no words to describe the gratitude that we have. There's no words at all, you know, for a city to embrace us, for our community to embrace us. Again, as outsiders, as we are, we moved to America, we moved here, we moved to the city, and the love that we've gotten, everyone cherishes us as if we were born here, we were raised here. That's the community that we've had, even with our parents or athletes. Everyone just has this amazing embrace and this amazing love. And this is what we want to continue to develop with Callaway. Not only just saying that we have a semi-pro team, not only saying we have a professional team, but actually providing actual pathways for youth in Callaway. Fortunately for us, we've been doing this for over 10 years with offices in 4 countries, in England, in Canada, in Jamaica, and now in the United States. And I can say without a doubt, and my wife can confirm that this is our favorite location. She does not want to leave. Like, let's go back to England. 2 years ago, she did not go. And now I love it just as much. I wake up every morning just dying to come out here to train, to play, to meet these beautiful people. Just the support has been absolutely amazing. Again, I want to thank you guys so much for your support. This time I'll ask our professional player, Javon Solomon, to come up with his signed jersey, which I hope you guys accept and find valuable, and hopefully someday we can auction it off if you want to and provide it back to the city. Javon's. And if we can, I don't know if we can get the mayor and some of the commissioners down, or we put it up. But if you guys don't mind, I'm asking you to just come around so we can present it to you guys and have some photographs. You want everyone? Come on.
In the middle here.
Bring us closer, we'll kind of.
You good?
I would ask our coach to come in as well. Please.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
I can tell you, I came out to I think the first game that they played here in Callaway. I admit, I don't know very much about soccer, but it looked like they really knew what they were doing, and there were a lot of people out here to watch them. So yes, it's as popular as he said, and I know right now soccer that's the sport that everybody's interested in. So thank you for what you did for our city at Christmas at Callaway, and thank you for choosing Callaway.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much.
Okay, we do have a proclamation now that I'd like to read into the record. I was asked to present something that was an event that they're having in Panama City on July 2nd, and I was asked to prepare a proclamation. This is the City of Callaway proclamation recognizing the 250th anniversary of the United States of America. Whereas on July 4th, 2026, the United States of America commemorates the 250th anniversary of the adoption of the Declaration of Independence, marking 2.5 centuries of liberty, self-government, and the enduring principles upon which our nation was founded. And whereas this historic semi-quincentennial celebration honors the courage, vision, and sacrifices of the generations of Americans who have worked to preserve and strengthen our democratic institutions and constitutional freedoms. And whereas the 250th anniversary provides an opportunity to reflect upon our nation's history, recognize the contribution of all Americans, and inspire future generations to participate in civic life and uphold the ideals of freedom, quality, and opportunity. And whereas the City of Callaway is proud to be part of the American story and recognizes the importance of fostering civic pride, community engagement, and respect for our shared heritage. And whereas the City of Callaway encourages all residents to participate in commemorative events, learn about our nation's history, and celebrate the values that unite us as Americans. And whereas July 4th, 2026 marks 250 years since the Declaration of Independence established the United States as a free and independent nation. Now, therefore, I, Pam Henderson, Mayor of the City of Callaway, Florida, do hereby recognize and celebrate the 250th anniversary of the United States of America, and encourage all citizens to join in honoring this historic milestone and recommit themselves to the principles of liberty, democracy, and service that have guided our nation for 250 years. Now we will go on to, do we have any additions or deletions to the agenda? Okay, and public participation rules. People can speak on any agenda items or all of the agenda items if they so choose. The process is you'll raise your hand, be recognized. Once you're recognized, come up to the podium, state your name and address for the record if you so choose, and then your 3 minutes start. That's it on each item. At the end of the meeting, if there's something that's not an agenda item that you want to speak about, your same process, and when you're recognized, you know, if you state your name and address, and then your 3 minutes start, that you can speak about whatever it is that was not on the agenda. So with all that, we will go on to approval of the minutes. We have the minutes of the June 9th, 2026 regular meeting. And I believe, Ashley, you had a comment to make.
Yes, I realized that under the motion for the approval of minutes, it said to approve the minutes of June 9th, 2026, it should have been June 12th, that happened.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Did anybody have anything else? Not, I would entertain the motion for approval as amended.
Motion to approve the amended minutes as amended for June 19th.
Sorry.
Okay, you've got a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. And you see, we do have the financials for April and May. I know if you had any questions on those, that Mr. Adam would be glad to address those with you if you just want to get in touch with him. And we will go on to our agenda. Our first item, ordinance 1132, City of Callaway 2065 Comprehensive Plan Update, final reading. And we do need to open the public meeting for our public hearing for this item. So, City Manager, would you like to, oh, I'm sorry, you need to, yes. Yes, that's what I forgot. I was trying to.
This is our public hearing, final reading of ordinance number 1132, an ordinance amending the comprehensive plan of the City of Callaway, specifically to adopt city-initiated amendments pursuant to section 163.3184 Florida statutes, update goals, objectives, and policies of the future land use, transportation, housing, infrastructure, coastal management, conservation, recreation, and open space, intergovernmental coordination, economic and capital improvements elements of the comprehensive plan, and 2, to update the future land use map series, providing for severability, repealing all ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing for an effective date.
Okay, yeah, City Manager.
If y'all remember, we did a workshop on this, made some changes, brought it back. We went through those. I did have Ray Greer in the audience that can speak to this. He sent it to the state review that came back, they were in agreement with it, and so it is presented to y'all as it was presented at the last meeting. If y'all have any questions, I think Mr. Ray can get it.
I have one question. Have we bumped HR Bill 391 against what we're doing?
Ray, come on.
Because there's some major changes coming in that bill.
Well, and we, of course, the comp plan we have today has to be addressed the items that we currently have new statute wise. But, you know, we also have, as we talked about during our workshops, we have Senate Bill 180, which is now part of law of Florida, which will, you know, set to expire, and we will have to make changes after that. So to address those, I do have, you know, those changes put together. But there will be, I mean, there is some changes, you know, coming, the potential changes, you know, to the session that could change some of the comp plan in the future requirements.
Well, a lot of it went into effect in March. So some of that stuff that went into effect, hopefully it won't come in front of us, but some of it are, pretty, I guess, to the benefit of the developer in relationship to what we've been doing. So I just want to make sure as we go forward that we don't delay those changes so this board doesn't get in trouble because we violate what's in it, HR.
And some of it's in the land development regulations too.
Right.
The changes will have to occur in land development regulations, not the comp plan.
So we're going to make changes.
As needed, we will make changes.
Right.
Yeah, we won't.
Fully documented.
And like I said, with the Senate Bill 180, as it changes and modifies, we'll come back and bring that as soon as we get more.
And it will expire. You said the 180 will expire after 2027.
Thank you.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Cruz?
Now, has this already been approved with the state?
Yes. So this, after our series of workshops that we did in the spring, and then our transmittal hearing, this went to the state, this went to the Florida Department of Commerce, who's the state land planning agency, went to the Florida Department of Environmental Protection, Florida Department of Transportation, Florida Department of State, Florida Department of Education, and the Northwest Florida Water Management District, and the Emerald Coast Regional Planning Council. So they are the reviewing agencies for the state on comprehensive plans. They reviewed and provided no objections. Department of Environmental Protection had one comment. They were looking for an item associated with a change that has occurred recently. It's actually in the data analysis, which showed them where that was, and they were okay with that. And then the other item was the Department of Commerce had a comment asking for us to put the short-term plan horizon, which is 10 years in, which is 2036, in the actual comp plans in the data analysis. So we moved it up and put it in the first section, the first goal that is in the future land use element. We had it in there as 2046, and then we added 2036 for the short-term 10-year plan horizon. That was the end of just comments, not objection. That was the only thing. Nobody else had any issues.
Ray, there's one area in here, a bunch of areas that are marked, but the one area I'd like to comment on, because we've had quite a bit of discussion about it, is the capacity of the roads. When we approve the development, the capacity of the roads, and it's pretty clear in the comprehensive plans we're talking about that when we look at approving these, that to actually read what it is, ensure that the development does not exceed the capacity of the hurricane evacuation and shelters. Well, we get into that when we get into development orders. And we have areas out there now that people are concerned about transportation issues, which makes it more important that we look at these in a long-term, on a long-term basis, which we're doing. And particularly out on Highway 22, where we know where we're going. There was some criticism of us bringing up, for example, the Parkway, because the Parkway is part of the long-range plan that handles some of the evacuation. We have some other roads out there. I think Callaway, the road Callaway is we're looking to extending that. No plan on it now, but that will be one of those areas that probably come to you and other engineering companies concerning extending that road on out to 231. And everybody recognizing that 231 all the way to Highway 20 is planned to be 6 lane. So when we're looking, we're not worried about water, on Highway 22. We are worried about wind and hurricane evacuation, maybe north or east or west. And so that's just one of the many items in the comprehensive plan that Bill and we and the planning department and all that, and you as an engineer have to look at, and it's in there. So just want to point that out. That's just one of many things that have been brought up that's actually resolved in here, or something that we have to look at every time we make a decision. All 100 and some odd pages worth.
Yes. And implementing the TPO's long-range transportation plan too.
Right.
Of course, the city coordinates with the TPO on that, and some of those items are addressed in the conference plan.
And it's mentioned in here, we look at that on a 5-year basis, which we are now with the TPO. And it's, by the time a lot of these developments get in, to the point that we have to look at that. So that will be part of our 5-year plan within the TTO. So.
Okay.
That's it.
Anybody else?
No.
Anything?
Thank you.
Okay, if there's nothing else from the commission, did anybody in the audience want to comment this one?
So part of the HB 399 that Bob asked about concerns the school interlocal agreements with Callaway. And I know it is not in that comp plan because it said we have one with the schools, but part of that HB 399 says that this interlocal agreement has to be written so that it gives the schools easement to city property for any, whatever, accessibility or repairs or something like that. So I'm wondering what is the plan to get that updated? And also some of this does take effect now, concerning development applications, denying proposals, residential dwellings that are allowed on the property, and I do believe some of that is in this comp plan, so I'm wondering, does the city have a plan to review HB 399? And I know our city manager said it's gonna be as needed, but some of this is needed now. Part of this went into effect March 27th, and then another part comes in January 1st. So, what's the plan to make sure that we are meeting the state requirements of this HB 399?
Is that something that you can answer?
So again, a lot of that is land development regulations. They're done through, a lot of what she just mentioned has to be done through the land development regulations. The interlocal agreement, the city has an interlocal agreement with the Bay County School Board. Each city in Bay County has an agreement. You know, the city will have to come together with the school board and amend the agreement to address it. And I would assume it would be done, just like that when the agreements were put in place, it would be done with all the cities. You go in at the same time to get that done, that language if they want that in there. But that is something, you know, that's in the interlocal agreement. As I mentioned before, the school concurrency, which we took out of the comp plan, was taken out of chapter 163 Florida statute, so it's no longer required. Your school agreements are, and those interlocal agreements that you have, those are required, and they remain in place.
But they have to be updated too.
Yes, and they have to be okay.
And we're gonna look at it, but when are we gonna look at it?
That's up to you.
Yeah, but that was something with the school board and all the cities, they'll circulate old new interlocal agreement. We, like, so we have one that's old with all the cities, real old. Right, so the school board and the cities will circulate old new interlocal agreement. That's up to the comp plan necessarily, like I said, it'll be part of the LBR and the new interlocal agreement of the board in coordination with the school board and the other cities and us.
I can reach out to Mark McQueen, see if he has any desire to update yet. When he does one, he's gonna have to do one.
Yes.
So that's what happened, that'll be all.
Yeah, I'll reach out to Mark to see. He's got that on his radar.
Thank you.
Did anybody else want to comment? I'm not missing anybody. Looks okay. So gentlemen, would somebody like to make a motion on this item?
Motion to approve ordinance 1132, City of Callaway 2065 comprehensive plan update, final reading.
Second.
Have a question here before we get that. Was this comprehensive plan 2040?
It's 2045.
24.
Okay, so we need to change that.
It's
2046.
I don't know where you're going
I
to
think it was
at the
46.
top of the summary form, but it is 2046.
2046.
Oh, this is a summary, yeah, it's 20.
So
Yeah.
when we started this, it was 2025. And so the comp plan has to plan out 20 years, so it was 2045, but then we carried into 2026. So we went back and changed everything They didn't want
2046.
2046. Cool. That's why we do
The
So we-
65 at the top is just a complete typo.
Okay, no problem. I'll repeat. Ordinance number 1132, City of Callaway, 2046, comprehensive plan update, final reading.
So now we have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion, anything else from anybody? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Brinkley?
Yes.
Commissioner Briggs?
Yes.
Commissioner Pelletier?
Yes.
Commissioner Ayers?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Henderson?
Yes. We will close the public hearing. We'll move on to our regular agenda. Item number 2, variance from the City of Callaway Code of Ordinances, 535 North Tyndall Parkway. City Manager.
Mr. Fry.
So Palmetto Capital Group LLC, on behalf of the property owner, has requested a variance from the City of Callaway's Code of Ordinances at the address at 535 North Tyndall Parkway. In short, a drive-through only or a vehicle repair maintenance shop. They are in the prohibited listed for our overlay district, which is Town Center, District Number 1, which is the most restrictive. Mr. Jeremy Anderson of Palmetto Group is here tonight to give a presentation. I believe he'll answer most of your questions. I just want to state that on May 19th, the planning board did hear this, and they voted unanimously to deny. But like I said, Mayor Jeremy Anderson is here tonight. He is prepared to give a presentation. Permission?
Yes.
Bill, you said or, is it and? Do they want to do both?
Technically, they're asking for 4 different variances from our LDR. The first 2 are, without the first 2, there's really no reason to talk about the second 2. So the drive-through onlys are not allowed in District 1. If you remember, we've had variance requests for that before. And we've had other variance requests in the overlay before, not for necessarily for auto repair, but auto repair is one of the prohibited uses.
So they're asking for variance for both.
Yes, ma'am.
The presentation is going to be on the monitor in front of you, and the audience will be able to see on the screen.
Good evening. I am not Jeremy Anderson. I'm Mike Burke, law firm of Burke Blue. Here just to introduce Mr. Anderson. I am the local counsel for the Palmetto Capital Group. With me tonight is Jeff Lazenby, who is with Palmetto Capital, representing the developer of the proposed project. And Mr. Anderson is going to get up in a moment here and speak to you regarding the changes that they've suggested in the proposed development that will answer the questions and the concerns that were raised by the planning board to make this area compatible with the uses that they're seeking to do. It is interesting that you just approved your comprehensive plan for the coming 20 years, 2046. And in that comprehensive plan, there is an element there in the future land use element that is 1.5.1, and it's regarding the redevelopment of blighted areas. And this falls within your CRA, and it is in a blighted area. If you're familiar with this piece of property, it's vacant with some buildings on it that aren't necessarily attractive for redevelopment use or redevelopment of the area. Some may call them blight. I wouldn't necessarily say that out loud, but you might call it that. And then as I drove in this afternoon to come to your meeting, there was a food truck sitting on that property. And so the development that's proposed here is something that will be a Dutch Brothers coffee and a Firestone repair, complete auto repair and tire sales. And it will, I believe once you see the presentation, you'll understand why it will meet some of the criteria. 1.51, which addresses the redevelopment and states that the main objectives of that comprehensive plan element are to eliminate adverse effects of blighted areas, strengthen the tax base in the CRA, create an environment conducive to investment and maximum community participation by private enterprise in the redevelopment. And additionally, the plan that's proposed for you for this particular piece will further the strategic plan of the CRA by creating and implementing design standards and guidelines. You'll see the proposed standards, the buildings will be placed on that property. I think you'll agree that they're an improvement certainly on what is there right now. Infrastructure improvement by supporting the stormwater development and sidewalks that are required, which are specifically mentioned in this part of your comprehensive plan, within your CRA strategic plan, is to have sidewalks that will help to connect the area, which is the mixed-use zone to the north of this particular district, and then the South Temple Parkway zone. You have in your strategic plan specific elements regarding connectivity through sidewalks that this will accomplish. And at this time, I'm going to sit down and let Mr. Anderson come up and walk you through the changes that we believe address the concerns that were expressed by the planning board, and that will hopefully get you to the point where we'll be able to approve this project. Thank you.
Good evening. Jeremy Anderson with Common Engineering. It's a pleasure to be here, Mayor, Commissioners. Thank you for your time and consideration of our request. I'm going to take you through a presentation. I'll try to keep it relatively short, but I want to touch on some of the concerns raised by the planning board and discuss how we've addressed those concerns. I'm going to walk through the site plan and show elements of the comp plan of the planning strategies that the plan meets. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the uses, just so you can be familiar with exactly what we're proposing to do. So with the first slide, we just have the location here. It's 535 North Tyndall Parkway. It's located just roughly 650 feet south of 7th Street. If you don't mind going to the next slide. Thank you. This is the site plan. There's a lot to talk about on this site plan. The parent tract is a 2.19 acre parcel proposed to be split to a little over an acre for the Dutch Bros and a little over 2 acres for the Firestone. Some of the planning board's concerns were safety, like traffic safety, and stacking for the facility. So in regard to like public safety for means of access from the state road, we're already working with FDOT. We've already got a transportation study done. Transportation study is showing an acceptable level of service. We have a concept of road improvements that we're showing on this plan. And of course, we intend to work with FDOT as well as the City of Callaway to implement those road improvements. Once again, a right turn lane in consideration of a left turn lane. They're right there at the Domino's, which is just to the south. From a stacking perspective, Dutch Bros has quite a lot of facilities. They're big on meeting all of their requirements from a site layout perspective as well as for stacking. They require 18 cars stacked. That's their maximum that they see at these locations. We exceed that amount of stacking. And also Dutch Bros is unique in not only the product that they serve, it's not a standard coffee shop, which I'll get into that in a minute. So there's a quicker turnaround on the product. And also they use runners, so their employees go out and greet the customer in the queue, take their order in person. So there's no speaker boxes or anything like that. They take the order and walk from customer to customer in the staff in the queue line. So in regard to the CRA and other important planning elements, shared access is an important part of that. So as you can see here, we have a shared access between the Firestone and the Dutch Bros with cross access shown across that shared access, not only between Dutch Bros and Firestone, but also to the Domino's to the south. So that's actually a requirement that we need to make to meet the, I think it's the North Tyndall requirements. I may be wrong about that, but I do understand the cross-access, yeah. So it is the North Tyndall requirement, so we do meet those requirements. in the CRA, the pedestrian access is, and also the North Tyndall and overlay, pedestrian access is really important. We have pedestrian access to the state road. We cross access between the Firestone and the Dutch Bros. And we're also at cross access stuff on the Dutch Bros property, to the southern end as well. So we have a mixture of uses, right? So there's going to be like a Firestone customer might come and they got, I'm putting off getting this done on my car. I need to get that fixed. And I can walk next door and I can sit underneath the porch and have a beverage or a snack. And I can get into a little bit more of that in a moment. Again, we have our on-site stormwater management. I'm going to get into the high-quality architectural elements that we are proposing to do. And that's it. So thank you. Next slide, please. So the requests are, there is no indoor seating on the Dutch Bros. It is so there's two ways to get your the product when you get there. When you come through the drive-through, but it's also from the pedestrian, which again is another important aspect of the overlay requirement is having that pedestrian access. And I'll get into that in a little bit. So there's the drive-through component. Again, there's no interior space for the customer. And then there's a front door concept also is required as well. We can put a door on there. It just won't be accessible. It won't be able to open it. They're locked open. We can get in. I'll get into that a little bit more. And of course, for the Firestone, we have the use itself, for automotive repair. And then the second request associated with that is they have tires that they roll out during business hours. It's just, on a roller, and it's like it shows the product, which is a tire there right next to the building. So those are the requests for you tonight. So the next slide, please. So this slide is, I'm going to focus on the Dutch Bros. This shows the pedestrian walk-up window. It also our building is not going to match this exactly. This is just a concept. It's going to have similar architectural standards, but again, it shows the pedestrian can walk up to the window to get served, and then also we're proposing force with outdoor seating. So while we don't have indoor seating, which is the reason why we're here, we have outdoor seating for the customer. We talked about pedestrian window, aesthetic quality would enhance architectural features, meeting or exceeding the overlay district requirements. I talked a little bit more about the human runner system where the employees come to the customer, to the drive-through to take orders. I talked about the door and outdoor seating as well. So next slide, please. So Dutch Bros is experiencing significant growth. Particularly in Florida, and so why is that? It's because they offer a very unique blend of products and services that really set it apart from just like a Starbucks or another type of a coffee shop. Just going down the line here, they have an energy lineup, which they call the Blue Rebel. They have espresso and a grab drink. They have different freezes, which is blended coffee. Cold brews and nitro, and they offer breakfast sandwiches and wraps. And they don't only offer caffeinated beverages; they also have non-caffeinated beverages as well. Next slide, please. Dutch Bros gives back to the community. They write here that we partner with our customers year round and make a massive positive difference, focusing on efforts on youth and young adults in the communities we serve. Throughout the year, we host fun-filled company-wide give-back days to support causes close to our hearts. The Dutch Bros Foundation donates $1 for every drink sold on these days directly to the organizations in need. And from a local community perspective, we empower our shops to host local events for organizations making a massive difference close to home. From monetary support to dedicated volunteer time, it's all about showing up for the community. Next slide, please. This is a conceptual rendering of the Firestone. The Firestone that we propose is very similar to this from an architectural perspective. We have some site-specific mitigation measures designed to integrate the automotive services into the overlay district from enhanced landscaping and sand attenuating building orientation of the service bays facing north and south and not toward the Parkway, North Tyndall Parkway. The front office where customers will enter the store or is located and directly addressing the North Tyndall Parkway. And also important to note that the work is performed 100% within the building. They do not allow overnight storage of vehicles in the parking area. So that is something that I'm going to eventually. Next slide, please. Okay, quick history here. Firestone has been around for 100 years. In 1926, Firestone operates as a massive player in the automotive world. This is straight from their website. Where they're manufacturing premium tires, running the largest network of company-owned auto repair shops in the world. Their locations employ thousands of ASE certified technicians who handle everyday vehicle maintenance, oil changes, repairs, wheel alignments, and so forth. So Firestone has been around for a long time. They employ, again, thousands of people. Next slide, please. Firestone itself provides a unique service. We all drive a vehicle that service is needed. This is a state-of-the-art building with, again, ASE certified technicians. The architectural elements are going to meet or exceed overlay district requirements. But there's essential services they provide, help ensure road safety with tire, brake, and alignment services. They service the immediate community in which they are located. These services, they create jobs, of course, and they have a recycling program as well for the tires that they do. Next slide, please. So this is where it's a little bit more fun for me. They also do a lot of charity work, and they contribute to the Boys and Girls Clubs of America. Since the partnership, Firestone and Bridgestone has raised nearly $30 million for the Boys and Girls Clubs of America. An interesting fact is they donate vans to the girls and boys clubs. And they actually take the kids on field trips, career days, job interviews, and college tours using those vans. And they also help service them also once giving them to the Boys and Girls Clubs. Next slide, please. They also contribute to the Wounded Warrior Project. They frequently run initiatives where a direct percentage of local consumer purchases, often up to 15%, is pulled together locally and donated to support veterans and military families living right within those same communities. In June 2025, BSR donated $100,000 to the Wounded Warrior Project after a 2-week campaign. So one of the other questions the planning board had, well, the ones we've addressed were like public safety for driveway access and staffing. Like, how is this going to work? How's the Dutch Bros going to work? And I hope I've addressed that question. If you have any questions about that, just please let me know. But from one of the other questions that the planning board had was related to like why here, you know? And so both Dutch Bros and Firestone they've identified this site as a place where they feel they will be successful and service the community. And they did an extensive analysis, which included a review of surrounding businesses, demographic data, mobility patterns within the community, traffic counts, and sales analysis as well. So basically, the site selection analysis is based off like proven data. Again, Firestone's been in business for 100 years, and so they have a really good feel for the locations that they want to be. I think that's important. So I'm focusing on that just because what I'm trying to explain what sets the Firestone apart. The Dutch Bros, I feel like what sets them apart is again the product that they offer. It differs significantly from some other coffee shops that may be in the area. Next slide, please. So this is somewhat of a recap. I think we've covered a lot of these things, but what I wanted to get back to is like why are we here today? The both uses are permitted uses in the zoning category. We're here before you today because of the overlay restriction, right? And specifically with the Dutch Bros, it's not having a drive-through without indoor. I guess it's indoor seating, but we are proposing outdoor seating. So we are proposing seating. And again, a service window for pedestrians to walk up to the building and get their order taken. So I feel like that does address the overlay by providing outdoor seating and for addressing the pedestrian, which are both two very large components of that overlay district requirement. The other item is that not having a customer access into the interior of the building. They just don't. It's not a building that has any space for a customer. It's only employees in there. It's a smaller building. It's only 987 square feet. And then for the next slide is the Firestone. Again, I think we've covered a lot of this as well. The variance request, again, Firestone is a permitted use in the zoning category. The variance request is related to the overlay. It's for automotive repair. I do feel the Firestone is unique. I know that the building is state of the art. I know that the building will meet the architectural overlay requirements or exceed them. And again, we've already touched on those other really important things that we need, like shared driveway access, cross access, pedestrian access, on-site stormwater management. So I hope that presentation wasn't too long, but we had feedback from the planning board and we wanted to make sure that we addressed those questions that they had and those concerns. So thank you so much.
Could I ask a question? I know you talked about providing jobs. Do you know how many jobs each of those businesses will provide?
I don't know that I know exactly how many they are. I don't know that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Did anybody else have any questions for the gentleman?
I think that's good. That's it.
Well, I don't know as much of a question, but as a comment. Firestone or the business, the coffee business, I have no problem with the companies that are involved. However, the overlay district, and this is what you're asking for, is change that. Well, what you're asking for, particularly with Firestone, we have an overlay district that accepts it. You know, there are other areas that have that. So we're not against Firestone or that particular business. But in that particular overlay, very honestly, back in 2005, 2006, when we did the CRA, we looked at that. This is not the type of business that we really wanted on the Temple Parkway. And this is the property that y'all have. I wish you had property on Highway 22 and do the same thing, because that's where the overlays, we'd really love to have you, that type of thing. As Bill had mentioned, we've had drive-throughs that we've turned down, and one many years ago, we still have the coastal drive-through teller out there that is no good, obviously, because it doesn't meet the requirement of that particular overlay. You put a bank there, fine, but they just put a teller location there. So between that, going back in history, and what has taken place, particularly with this board and other boards prior to us, it's just hadn't been approved. So, that being said, it's obvious where my feelings are on this.
For Dutch Pro specifically, and I've used their products before out west, the drive-through only doesn't meet it. Having outdoor seating, I think, does make that meet. The Firestone, it's kind of like Mr. Griggs says, it goes against everything that we have set in order on it.
The cross-parcel access that you're, and when we lay out a plan like we did many years ago, There are businesses now that don't meet necessarily that plan, they're non-conforming, when that business change, then, because we have some businesses that don't have, the cross parcel access is 25 feet, beyond the easement. So you're looking at almost 40 feet before you can, start a building and start your process there. So, but you do meet that all in your plan, you do meet these requirements, it's just the wrong business.
I'd like to disagree if I can, and I respect your opinion. I think Callaway needs to be pro-jobs. And we do have a Goodyear, and we do have a Pepperwoods, and we do have 2 other coffee shops on this same strip. So I think if we denied it, we're kind of talking against what's already in existence there and something that we should allow. I think that, I don't know how many jobs are produced, but I would think that one would be at least 10 to 15 jobs, the coffee shop and the Firestone, maybe up to 30 to 40 jobs, because they have to have mechanics, receptionists, and all those things. So I think I would like to see us keep. I think the competition is good. Goodyear and Pepperwoods needs a little competition, and I think Firestone would give them that. And the coffee shops on the opposite side of the street versus the other coffee shops. So it may not be competition to those guys at all because of their location. So that's my thoughts.
Well, I don't disagree with you on that. The citizens have stated numerous times, they don't want another coffee shop, they don't want another car wash, another gas station, another repair shop. Like, the things they're proposing are the things the citizens have said, we don't want these things.
I don't disagree with the analysis, however, this property's been sitting empty now for, what, 10 years, city manager? I don't see Nexite getting in front of the line and bringing anybody else in. You know what I'm saying is that we keep on,
Do public in a bit.
you know, we have nobody knocking down our doors saying, oh man, we want to put our business in here. Okay? I understand the overlay, I understand all that, I understand what the commissioner's saying, I understand what you're saying too. Okay? Seven Brew is drive-through only. Have you been down there? Have you been down Seven Brew? I mean, that place is packed to the gills, and it's drive-through only. It's just down the street from where we're talking about. You know, I have mixed emotions about the whole thing, for the simple fact that this property is going nowhere. Next site that we pay, you know, many dollars for, has not stepped up, say, okay, here's a business we can put in on this property. They've done zero. You know, matter of fact, next site hasn't done much anything in Callaway for a few years. So.
Next site is no longer in the contract, their contract.
They expire now? Okay.
Yeah,
So-
that contract is
Right,
expired.
so that's what I'm saying.
And I will
that
say this one, that property was never listed with next site.
It was never listed with them?
We can't list a property that the property owner doesn't agree.
Right,
They don't
okay.
list it.
Yeah, I know what this is. They used to own the property, I don't know who owns it now, but, we call it Phillips property,
Correct.
you know.
Yeah, John Phillips.
It was inquired about in the end, but he was
Right.
not, he didn't, at the time, he was not interested in selling.
And Southern Brew that you brought up, that's in Parker, it's not in Callaway.
I understand that, but when we talk about we'll talk about drive-through. Okay. And I know the citizens don't want another coffee shop, they don't want another car wash. But what are we gonna do with the property? What are we gonna bring in? What kind of jobs are we gonna bring into Callaway? You know, we talked about all the jobs that were gonna be created at Beacon Point, 2 years ago. Eventually that's gonna come to fruition, you know, eventually that's gonna come. But what are we doing to try to bring a business that meets our requirements into that piece of property? So I have mixed emotions about it. I know that the citizens will give me hell because of what I'm saying, you know, but what else is going in here? We got tax revenue coming in off of this, we got jobs, probably 30, 40 jobs being created that we don't have. There's not a lot, of course, Walmart's the largest employer in Callaway. And largest employer of the sheriff department.
And when you say citizens, how many citizens are you talking about?
I get
You know, you, maybe 10, 15 local citizens?
I'd much rather have this nice looking businesses
Exactly.
on that property than it sit there, because like you said, people aren't beating our doors down, wanting to put something on that piece of property, so.
Our citizens want jobs, okay?
People out there looking.
And, I know they don't want a coffee shop, I already know that, I'll get beat up for that, you know? And I know, we do have a Firestone down the street, I guess, which is not affiliated with, corporate, must be a local.
No, we have
Good, I thought it was part of Firestone, it's good, yeah.
The Firestone will have that.
Excuse me.
Well,
It's not there.
Yeah.
and I'm sure these gentlemen that run over these businesses have done their homework, and they feel like the business is there. They wouldn't build a business if they didn't think they'd have customers. So, you know, if they wanna make the investment,
They're making the investment, it's their money, they're putting everything in, has nothing to do with Callaway other than our
that's right.
restrictions.
And I have talked to citizens and they'll tell me they don't want these things, but they do patronize them all.
Right,
Exactly.
exactly.
Right. Including the Firestone, and if there's competition with the Firestone, the Goodyear, Pep Boys, that's good. That
Yes.
means the prices go down and the Firestone's gonna be
And they
brand
kind
new.
of ups the bar that everybody wants to perform at top level because there's competition.
So they're gonna have a hard time beating, Walmart's, because I think Walmart takes their business when it comes to tire and oil change.
But they don't do some of the
No, they
mechanical
don't, no.
things. And Firestone does specialize in a lot of mechanical things that are very expensive when you go to the dealership. But the Firestone is affordable, and in my experience with them, they're top notch.
Well, one of the things that citizens have been requesting every time we bring up something, and we, also, the demographics that we're getting closer to what multi-times they've asked for is restaurants. Something other than this type of business. And what they're asking for is, now we can't tell the developer what to do. And this Phillips property, you know, has been out there for many years, but things change as the demographics change. You know, maybe there's another use for this property, and it should be another use for this property.
Correct me if
So
I'm wrong.
I'm willing to keep all that open. And I'm willing for the Firestone to be in the area that we would allow them to be in.
City manager, correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't there some effort at one time that somebody was gonna open a couple of restaurants on that property? Is there a discussion on that? I heard a rumor that, you know, that there was gonna be, hear anything on that?
No.
Just rumors?
Yes, rumors, Tom.
The rumors were further down the street where the old steak place was, and the Chinese place was next. Now they're gonna do, from what I've heard, a Mexican place, so.
That's over in Palmer.
That's Carter.
That's our.
It is, but it's.
No, but I'm saying that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, they're gonna have a hard time competing with Walmart.
Well, I think they're gonna buy, from what I heard. So everybody.
Yeah, everybody.
Did it? Okay.
So anyways, I have mixed emotions about the whole thing, I know I'll get beat up for it, but at the end of the day, I look at, they're making the investment on the property, they're building the building. It's gonna create jobs, yeah, we got another coffee shop, yeah, we got another car repair, but what are we bringing to that property in the last 10 years? Nothing.
And it is a nice little way.
Right. Well, we've had code enforcement a couple times now. And the food truck that's there disappears at night. I happen to know him, he's a good guy, comes in and shops at home.
Of course. Everybody shops.
Yeah. So,
Any other comment from up here? And I'll let the citizens speak. Okay, who wants to talk about? Anybody want to? Mr. Hanning?
Don Henning, 431 Times Pass. Y'all voted down the variance of Grease Pro. Would then put up, sales of automobiles there. And now you should have done that, because all they had was property there. Little property there, that's all, but had more than 10, 15 cars over there to sell. But let this property sit for a while. We're not hurry for it. I mean, been there for a while. I don't think you should do the variance. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yes, sir. Ms. Shane, you wanted to say something. I thought she posed to deal with it.
I'm about ready to make, Ron Sharon picked 711 Cabin Circle. I'm about ready to make opinions about it. You make these rules, and then in certain cases you want to bend them or break them. I mean, either follow your rules you make. The Grease Pro thing comes to mind, you wouldn't, extend that line just a little bit so you could sell a few cars there. But, now I'm hearing this, now you're talking about breaking, you make the rules, follow them, or change, it fits one way or the other. But, the Grease Pro thing really, you couldn't, is that line, is it in concrete where it can't be moved, or could it have been moved just a little bit to allow Grease Pro to sell cars or whatever? But it's confusing, watching, you want to do this or you want to do that, but it don't quite fit, so you're willing to stretch a little here and be tight over here. So, I got mixed feelings about it. So, are we better off with a weed patch there? Or would we be better off getting some tax money and, a business in there? So, I like to see businesses. I don't like to see weed patches and, no tax money coming in. You're better off with businesses, but you maybe need to loosen up on your rules a little bit. But, I'm just an old guy, I get confused easily. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, I know you wanted to speak.
I'm Christina Melvin with ERA New Bauer, so I'm here to represent the sellers. I've heard Phillips come out of everybody's mouth, so I'm sure some of you know John W. Phillips, and unfortunately he's not with us anymore. But it is disheartening to Helma Phillips every time she goes out to Tingle and she just sees that it's just blank there, or that maybe the food truck might be there or something like that. They were residents of the city of Callaway for over 50 years. John arrived here in 1975 out at the base, and he worked, lived, and served the community for all of those decades. And when you talk about change, we wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for Hurricane Michael. Hurricane Michael took out their personal residence, took out their office, and that's why the property's been sitting there. And if John was alive, truthfully, he probably wouldn't sell it because of the emotional aspect. He had that office there since 1984, and like I said, the emotional tie, the heart of it is there. So they're not leaving the community. They have over 10 residential rentals throughout the city of Callaway. So they are going to continue to be taxpayers. They are going to continue to own the Domino's next door and the Verizon building. They also have a couple of acres on Camellia right behind Domino's. And they would really love for y'all to be able to approve this and put something there that looks good. It's going to bring in jobs and people and more opportunities to Callaway. And as you know, the tax revenue and all of that is just gonna go up. So on behalf of the Phillipses, they respectfully ask if you would please approve this variance and get this project going so that it can improve the city of Callaway and everything for the residents and the values. Thank you.
And just, I'm open with everything John Phillips felt. I know John Phillips, he's a great guy. All of us knew this.
Yeah, he built over hundreds of homes throughout Callaway.
Did a good job with him. And also, Mr. Shannon, I've been consistent in my position. I've always been pro-business. And so, that's all.
Mr. Augusta.
David Augusta, 6609 Prison Street. I'm finding myself in agreement with what Mr. Shaner said, and I'm also in agreement with what Commissioner Pelletier and Mr. Harrison said about this. Yes, the Grease Pro variant should have been approved because it would have brought some more business. But at the same time, I'm somebody who has occasionally done business with Firestone when my mechanic had to be shut down for the holidays or he went on vacation. I always went to a local Firestone because he recommended them. And Firestone has had some up-to-date, clean, quality waiting areas. I mean, the waiting areas alone, I love. And not to mention their service areas are clean as well. But yes, I know some are saying, no, we don't want another coffee shop here, but a lot of times in life, there's going to be trade-offs, whether it's your personal life or a business life. And I think this is a pro-business move for the city, not just because it's creating potential jobs and also getting rid of an eyesore within our city, but add on to what Mr. Pelletier said earlier about bringing in additional tax revenue. This tax revenue is another plus for the city because who's to say how much it could help this city out if the property tax amendment gets passed by the voters in the state this November. We don't, some are concerned about the revenue loss of our city. Well, this could help compensate part of it. I don't know how much it'll compensate, but hey, penny saved is a penny earned is what I've always heard, but since pennies got done away with, we say nickel saved, nickel earned. Even though there's still some pennies that exist today. But I think these variances should be approved. And out of respect for Mr. Griggs and Mr. Birdsell, this is one of the rare times I have to disagree, but I think it's a win for the city. But again, I quote President Reagan, a 20% disagreement is not a 20% enemy. And I hope Mr. Griggs and Mr. Birdsell will see that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
Kathy Christodoulou, 224 Secoshie Drive. Just as a citizen and a consumer, I would love to have a Firestone close by because I have to go all the way over to Panama City to use it, and we use it all the time. And yes, I understand. I appreciate all your positions having to make these tough decisions, and thank you for what you do. But I vote for letting them do it because, hey, a bird in the hand. What's going to happen in 10 years when we look back and go, oh, eyesore, we should have. Let's just go ahead and do it and let me go to Firestone.
Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
Teresa Langston, 6031 Main Street. I'm trying to get through this since I've lost my voice. You talk about the Grease Pro, all the citizens don't want it, citizens this, citizens that, citizens whatever. Now tonight it's, who cares what the citizens want? We're not gonna listen to them. They only voted to put us in office to represent and for you guys to listen to them. But, when the human being came, they were saying the same thing about why do they have to have another coffee place? We have 5 coffee places within 3.8 miles, starting with Flyby to Starbucks. Within half a mile to a mile, we have 4. It's going to make 5. Tire places within, half a mile? We already have 3 tire places, and now we're going to have 4. The citizens keep saying what they want. Nobody seems to listen. You talk about, well, there ain't no businesses knocking down our door. What are we paying? What is it next door? To try to bring in businesses? That's been a waste of money. We've been saying that for a couple of years now. That's all I've been hearing is, why are we wasting money on them? Because who's out there marketing, trying to bring in different businesses into Callaway? No one. I mean, unless by chance they find a property for sale, or, you know, a builder or an engineer or whatever decides, hey, this looks, I mean, this would be a good spot for that. We don't have anybody out there marketing Callaway to bring in different businesses that the citizens want. Now, I've lived here for years, 30-something years, from when I was a child, so I've seen change and I understand change. But why do we have to have all these coffee places? Why do we have to have all these tire repair shops, gas stations? Why can't we bring in something better? I mean, that's the job of, I guess, the city manager and whomever to try to market Callaway. But I don't think it's another job to kind of help promote
I do the best I
Callaway.
can. But I don't spend on the phone calling Red Lobster and those people.
Well, thank God for that. I'm okay with not having that. But I'm just saying, you know, with all the coffee places, look at the human being. I drive by that place all the time. Cause you know, I'm out and about doing what I do. And, there's hardly anybody ever at the human being. So what makes another coffee shop any different than, you know, than what we already have? So I think we have enough coffee in tire places, and I think you should listen to the citizens. Oh, and about the job, it's not going to be 30 to 40 jobs that brings in. Just so you know, it's going to be less than that, because I heard them talking about how many jobs it's going to be, and it's definitely not going to be 30 or 40.
Your time's up, thank you. One thing, I don't know, maybe you didn't hear when Commissioner Pelletier, number one, our contract with Nextside has expired, so they are no longer under contract, and city manager said at the time that Nextside was marketing the city, that property did not want to be listed.
So we had other
The seller
property.
did not want to list it, so that property wasn't marketed because the seller or the owner didn't want it to be.
But that's not the only property
No,
in
but I
Callaway
mean,
on
next
Tugel
time,
Parkway.
they market, but sometimes you can market, but if nobody's interested, what can you do? You can't make them come.
And you don't take into account the shift work, because those businesses are open longer than 12 hours, and you're gonna have to break it up. Also, we do listen to the city.
I just heard them say how many
Do
employees
you
it's gonna
mind?
be.
We're talking. And when you get your 3 minutes, please come out and talk then.
Oh, I will.
Let's be civil, everybody.
Oh, I got 3 minutes.
Yes, sir.
Martin Bosler, 6303 Walsh Road. I'm so far on the fence with this thing that I'm afraid I'm gonna fall over and rip my nice shirt. I'm a lifelong mechanic. To this day, I work at a tire place. I love working at that tire place. And as that lifelong mechanic, and I know about tires, I hate it when people come up here and try to pull the wool over your eyes or lie to us when we're sitting there. We're going to recycle our tires. You have to recycle your tires. Don't let somebody come up here and tell you that we're doing a good job because we're going to recycle our tires. Florida statute says you have to recycle your tires. So don't let somebody come here. If they don't do their homework and come here and tell you that they're good people because they recycle their tires, do your homework, do the math, and come here and get a good number. There's no reason why they should be able to tell you how many employees they're going to have. I get it. They don't know which business they're going to put. But it's ridiculous. Don't let people come here and try to fool you, which is fooling us because we're going to be the ones stuck with this. I want my tires done. I do my own tires. And if I don't do my own tires, my friends that live right next to me in Callaway, I go to their tire shop. So I'm so on the fence with this, like I would make a good politician. I'm sorry. As a person that's on the fence with this, I am the person that wants a car wash. I have wanted a car wash to be an owner of a car wash for almost my whole adult life. If you look out there and you see my car, I wash that thing like every other day. I wanted to provide that place for people. So like I'm really on the fence with this. And yeah, people are gonna, maybe be mad about having a car wash. I'm not gonna, I'm very happy with what I do right now. I'm not gonna ask for y'all to let me open one. But the main thing is, I was leaning towards coming up here and saying, let them build it. And then they come up here and they have somebody that just like tries to lie to you guys about something. Well, what else are they lying about? If they're gonna try to sell you, we're gonna recycle our tires, you know, don't let people fool you. They have to. They have to. It's ridiculous.
Thank you for that information. Who else wants to speak? Yes, ma'am.
Karen Custer, 216 Lanningham Drive. I've heard a lot of people say, I'd rather have something other than a coffee shop or a tire place. What would that be? I mean, what's suitable to go there that NP can go out and try to get? I have no idea. Would it be a dog grooming place? What can y'all, anybody give us ideas? What could go there that you could go out and look for? I mean, you have a medical place across the street. I mean, of course, we'd love to have nice restaurants, but they're not coming to Callaway. What could we have?
Why not?
I don't, Eddie's not getting, Eddie doesn't like Red Lobster.
Actually, like Red Lobster. I don't eat there. Why would you eat a Red Lobster when you live in Florida?
Yeah.
Football fresh.
No, I'm just asking, what are we waiting for? Because I don't know. If we can't think of anything, you know, that we might be able to go out and get, then approve this, you know, if you want to.
Well, definitely what these citizens have been asking for. Now, we've got a realtor, and of course the realtor is involved in selling this property to them. We've had the comments concerning, the Phillips, when I'm very familiar with the Phillips and John and all that, but and the property is there, and actually there's property behind there that, the Phillips could incorporate with this particular property for, a restaurant business or something along that line. So there are other opportunities, and that's what we look for when we establish these overlays and these corridors. They have nothing but praise for the businesses they're talking about, the Firestone. They have no problem with that. It's just that this is not the area that Callaway has designated for that type of business. And we've actually had, I guess, 7 people on the planning board who are all the citizens. All citizens.
I'm just asking, what would you put there?
Ms. Custer, what I'll do is, I never want to interrupt you 3 minutes. That's the first thing. But Mr. Fry will get up and you can tell us what businesses. Did I put you on the spot?
Yeah.
What kind of businesses
Does
do you want to
anybody
do?
have an idea? Because
That's what I'm asking. He could tell us what's permitted there.
Oh, well, it's better defined as what's prohibited. We're up here, we have Cheesecake Factory put in.
Yeah, that would be great.
So
They like malls.
Yeah.
And that's the issue.
Does that answer your question?
No.
You know, well, obviously restaurants, we're here tonight because specifically in that overlay district, it's prohibited to do what they're asking you to do. You know, so there are many things that you are allowed to do. You know, a pharmacy, there's just, it's better defined by what you're not allowed to do within the, you know, everything else, because it is zone highway commercial.
And you did list all the prohibited things on the sheet, so it's already right here.
And it's a big parcel, but it's just not quite big enough to bring in one of those big ticket items, like a Cheesecake Factory.
Because we need malls first.
That ain't gonna happen.
The Galleria did not have it.
The Galleria did not
I'm sorry.
Galleria didn't have Cheesecake Factory didn't happen on the beach because they tried to bring them in here.
If they won't go to the beach, it sure won't come to
Right.
California.
So there's a lot of things that we can say, and I understand, you know, but at the end of the day, we still have income coming in. We still have a few jobs, be it 10 jobs, 20 jobs, jobs that people can go to that we're not offering right now. And I know I'll get beat up when I get home tonight.
Parking lot.
And, oh, she said it in the parking lot. But anyhow, that's my feeling.
Anybody else that wants to comment on this?
And I think too, Mayor, at some point, we need to have a discussion about overlay.
Yes.
It's been there for a long, long time, but is it serving the city of Callaway?
Yes, we need to have a workshop.
Right.
Have it on its
Yeah, is it serving us? Because I agree with Mr. Shaner, you know.
So maybe we need a workshop and talk about, do we need to make changes?
Right. I agree with Mr. Shaner.
It was adopted way before I got here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's before my day.
Since 2005.
I mean, it was, and if you look at it, I mean, it's kind of like, in a perfect world.
We already have all these businesses on Timber Park. They're already there.
But if you look at that, it's like in a perfect world, and you know, if we got all our wishes, this is what we would have. But now, in today's age, it may not be realistic.
Right, exactly. And
So we
so I
probably
think the
just
issue
need
is
to
that we should
look
have a
at it.
discussion on the overlay district, because I think, in my mind, you know, I agree with what a lot of citizens said, I agree with what Mr. Shaner said.
Yes.
You know, so there's a lot of things I do agree with, but I think when you look at, and down Tyndall Parkway, we have, yes, the coffee shops, yes, we have the car repair, yes, we have on and on and on and on and on. But you get into Callaway, we don't want you.
You know, it's, I mean, it's a difficult decision.
Yeah.
You know? But I still think I want to be business friendly in California,
I agree.
and I think it's better to have something than have the, just that empty, not real attractive parcel. So, nobody else wants to say anything? Are we ready for a motion? I'm ready for a motion.
Motion to approve variance from the City of Callaway Code of Ordinances 535 North Kendall Park.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Is there any more discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
So we're passed on a 3-2 vote. So I'm sure we'll hear some from you gentlemen about whatever other variances you discussed. And we will go on to our next item, item number 3, additional city employee holiday. Mr. Pelletier, did you want to
Right.
discuss this?
I put that on here because, as you all, most of you know, a lot of counties are discussing extra time off for city employees for 4th of July for the celebration of 250. I know Parker's discussed this, I don't know about Panama City and Manhattan.
Parker Pass.
Parker Pass.
Parker Pass.
So,
Springfield did not, they talked about it. So that's just-
Would they count that?
they kind of, I don't know if they've even discussed it.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
I wish if the governor had so much extra money to do this,
Give it to-
I wish he would have sent it down here, but we can use it on Highway 22. I'd much rather see that, I mean, I'm sorry, but I'd rather the state employees just get one holiday and we get our road taken care of.
But at the end of the day, we talk about all of us about how our employees are doing a great job. And I just think this is one way for us to, you know, as a commission, to give back to
But
our,
we're just talking about
one extra day,
And
and the
just
city
this
manager can
year,
decide if that's a Friday or a Monday.
just this year.
Just this year only, yes.
The only concern that I had, now I'm not opposed to doing the extra day, but, and I even discussed it with city manager, would we be better to do half the employees on Thursday, so they have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and half on Monday? You know, all my concern was, is that gonna cause any problem for citizens?
Right,
You know,
right.
if utility billing is
Right.
closed 2 days,
Right.
rather than just one.
Yeah.
You know, same thing with public works, are we gonna have somebody on call, and is that gonna end up costing more money than it? So, you
I don't
know,
like
this
to
is
bump
another
it.
one that I'm kind of,
I think that's a good, it's up what city manager
but
thinks,
city
but you know,
manager doesn't really think that doing a split like that would be beneficial, other than
Yeah.
utility
I
billing
don't-
would be the only,
Yeah, that's about the
yeah, the only one that's getting affected here is the fire department, they don't get that.
well, but they are.
And we have.
Sorry,
a
Chief.
And even though it's due on the 5th,
Right.
we would.
15.
Yeah, but we've already worked it out how we would have.
Okay. That's a good idea.
My only other concern, and this seems like these guys always get the short end, is leisure services. Will your guys be able to take an extra day, or have you got stuff going on?
We'll have to schedule.
Well, we did away with the 4th of July celebration, so they.
So that they could have the day off.
Right.
And I appreciate you bringing this up, because I called the city manager and said, hey, can we breakfast? Commissioner Pelletier and city show.
Jumped on you, jumped ahead on you.
But what's anybody else got to? We want to get, I mean, we got your viewpoint, you know, yours.
Well, I'm with Bob. It kind of surprises me with the Doge movement up in Tallahassee that they would even do this. But since there's, the snowball is running downhill in this case. And if the city manager needs to split it up or maybe go to the different organization, ask, hey, make this 50-50, I can see that.
I think he prefers just one day. You say it would be better all around if we just do Monday. So if we
Do
just
Friday,
do
Monday,
Friday,
Friday,
Saturday,
Monday.
Sunday, Monday.
Friday, Monday works best.
Friday.
That way everybody's, they're working 2 4-day weeks instead of a 3-day and then going back to 5.
I think we've compromised. So I'm good. Friday night.
Do you have anything to say, Commissioner Briggs?
It's not in the budget. Now, you wanna give up that, you wanna go ahead and pay that day, what paving are we not gonna be doing, because that money could be spent on the paving? I mean, this is something that the state, and like the mayor has pointed out, they got so much money at the state, but they don't have enough money to give us for the things that we need. But they got enough money to give 1,000 employees an additional day.
More than that, 100,000. 100,000.
100,000.
Yeah, 100,000.
Got left off the zero. But that's,
Like
you
I
know, they
said,
got,
it's a direct violation of the Doge principle.
and that's all political.
Yes.
But our job as we sit here is to form a budget, approve that budget, and approve the use of what, that money's gonna be spent for, in which we did. And we actually, you know, we had an opportunity, if we wanted to give the employees another holiday, we took the holiday away in order to come up with the June 10th. And that was upsetting because we gave away President's Day in order to put in June 10th. But now, what I'm hearing is, oh, it's okay, we'll go ahead, and very honestly, I appreciate the employees, and every one of them knows it, that I appreciate the employees. But my job is, as a commissioner up here, is to manage the funds and approve the funds. This is not a budget. You know, next year, you know, when we do next year's budget, are we just gonna be, say, well, maybe there's something that's gonna come up, somebody's gonna need something, we're gonna go ahead and give everybody another day off, whatever. And by giving the day off, other than what has already been listed in the holidays and all that, a citizen coming in to make a payment for their utilities or whatever, I mean, there's not gonna be anybody there.
That's not what we discussed, Commissioner.
Pardon?
That's not what we discussed. The city manager was gonna split it.
Gonna split it?
Yeah.
Well.
So somebody's gonna be there. Somebody's gonna have to be in the city.
Yeah.
On one of those two days.
I mean, that's kind of what we just like, wouldn't be beneficial.
But the only way we can split it would be with utility billing, that would be effective.
Right.
But I'm asking y'all, since y'all seem to be proponents of it. I'm not a proponent of it because my job here is to manage the money.
We'll be talking about something else tonight that's not in the budget.
Yeah, where's this money coming from? Now you can say, well, we got the reserve, and we have plenty of reserve to do various things. Is this?
The payroll's already there, Commissioner. There's no extra money. The payroll's we already approved the payroll, so I don't know where you're coming out with extra money. We approved the payroll. All we're doing is approving one extra day, so it's not costing the citizens a dime more than what we budgeted for, is that they're getting an extra day off, this time only, period. So there's no extra money. If you do your homework, you're talking about budget to me, you're talking to the wrong guy. There's no extra money. We've already approved the budget for payroll for this fiscal year. All we're doing is giving them an extra day off. It's not costing any more.
It's already budgeted for
It's already
the
budgeted.
salary for that day.
Salary's there.
So, and I did, one of my concerns was solid waste, but city manager says they work it out so that people that would have solid waste pick up on those days.
They pick up
they
Thursday or
get
Friday.
picked up either the day before or the day after.
As long as we don't create overtime.
Yes.
There's no extra money, Commissioner. It's already in the budget. It's just a day off.
Very honestly, I stand corrected on that.
That's okay.
But generally,
You're talking to the
here
wrong
again,
guy. We're talking about
I'm coming from business. When you spend money for a purpose, manufacture something or do something. So in this case, we're spending the money, we're just not getting anything for it except appreciation to the employees.
Well, appreciation, morale, et cetera, et cetera. You know, I can list a dozen things that this is gonna do. When was the last time this commission ever did that? None. And when was the last time we saw a 250? Probably you and I will never see it again. Nobody in this room's ever gonna see it again.
We're not gonna see 500.
We're not gonna see 500, you know. So, I saw the trend throughout the state of Florida, and I understand, you know, the governor, he paid 100,000 employees, but it's in the state budget already. Their payroll is. So it's not costing anybody extra money, it's already in the budget.
Except we could have used that money for.
We could have used it for something else, yes. But,
That's a lot of money.
I mean, we've had sister cities already doing it.
Yeah.
And I just think that, again, we do all appreciate it, but let's, you know,
Let's show our appreciation.
let's show our appreciation. And it's not costing us extra dollars because we've already funded it.
Okay, we'll hear from the citizens who wants to comment on the extra day off for 4th of July. Yes, ma'am.
Kathy Christodoulou, 224 Sakoshi. My husband was saying, are y'all gonna let us know if you're gonna switch your day of pickup for the trash on the street so that we know to put the stuff out?
What's your normal day?
If it's on a Monday, you'll probably have it Thursday or Friday.
Monday, just let the public
I have mine on
know,
Monday.
because that would be very
If it's on
frustrating.
Friday, if it's on Friday, they will pick up on Thursday. If it's on Monday, they pick it up on Tuesday.
Tuesday.
They'll double pick up on a day.
We have an extra truck now too.
But if you give the extra day, that's gonna be Thursday could be an extra day, or Monday could be an extra day.
Right.
So, pick up on Thursday.
We would pick up.
We picking up on Wednesday.
No, just on Thursday, we'll pick up Thursday and Friday. We'll run 2 routes.
Yeah, just let the let the residents know so we know which day to.
Yes, we approved the date, Commissioner, we're looking to get that Monday. That's yesterday.
Give them Monday.
So they'll pick up Thursday's route, we'll pick up Thursday and Friday. Friday's a shorter route anyway. And then Monday's route, we will pick up on Tuesday, we'll pick up Monday and Tuesday. And if they don't finish on, if they don't finish on Tuesday, then they'll pick up Wednesday, and they'll finish their
No,
route, we do Tuesday.
If we do Monday, we just do everybody Mondays. I mean, I hate to make utility billing split theirs and everybody else.
That's gonna be pretty tough, because
So-
we're gonna have supervisors.
Well, utility billing
Because that's money.
won't
And
be,
so
won't
there's-
be affected, because it's not due till the
Till the 15th, so I doubt there'll be too many,
25th.
there won't be too many people in there at the 5th of the month or 6th of the
We
month.
just need to put it on the website.
Yes,
We need to,
yes, we will.
we need to get information
And
out.
we have the drop off.
Whenever you can get it out.
The bill probably won't get out till the,
And about, pretty close.
our bill probably won't be out till about that time.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true.
We can delay that bill going out, so they don't get it until.
Then we'll get all
Until
contacted
they
and
get
get my
6 or
bill.
7, then they don't know what they owe.
So they won't have the bill by the day before, maybe, if we're lucky.
Anybody else want to comment? Mr. Shamer?
Well, anyway, Ron Shanger fixed 711 Kevin Circle. I get all kinds of stewed up when I hear about all these federal state holidays. Whenever, if they keep adding holidays, at some point in time, hundreds of years down the line, every day is gonna be a holiday. I ain't figured out how many years that's gonna take, but, it just gripes me every time they add another holiday. On the state and the federal level, another day for them to get out and do the thing, another day that, no production. No production and they're getting paid for it. But, I always think about that point in time when nobody's gonna have to do anything except get their paycheck. So, I know it's a stupid thing, but.
No, you're right.
Mr. Shaker, we do celebrate months now.
That's right.
And we do celebrate 10 holidays, and so does the state. They have one personal day. But this would be our 11th day.
At some point in time.
Go ahead, Ms. Lancaster.
Lisa Langston, 6031 Wayne Street. I mean, I don't see what the big deal of having a 4-day weekend for the employees. I mean, you worry about a hardship on the citizens, and the other time you don't care about what the citizens need or want. And why are we worried about it now on this agenda item?
Go ahead, Ms. Lancaster. Who else wants to speak? Mr. Augusta?
David Augustus, 6609 Burton Street. I think this is a no-brainer because our city employees deserve to have another day of rest, especially on the birthday of our country. Whether this is our 250th birthday or our 300th birthday coming up. It's a day of celebration that I think they deserve to have a time off. I mean, they work hard, and probably one of our best examples is Chief Joyner here and his team, but I doubt they're going to be closed down on the holidays because, fireworks and the danger. I pray to God there won't be any fires so they can have a deserved rest at that fine fire station that they have. But to me, they deserve it because I've said before, our city is a microcosmic example of our nation. And that's one reason I'm proudly wearing this t-shirt, acknowledging both our city and our nation. And more proof of it tonight was that fine donation we got from the LAX semi-pro soccer team. Again, proving that we are the best and we should show we are the best by honoring the lifeblood of our city, our citizens give them a day off. And by the way, I hope that can be hung in the city hall lobby where everybody can see it and be proud of it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Don't see anybody, so it's back to us, we're coming like to make a motion.
Motion to approve Commissioner Pelletier's application for, is it Monday, Friday and Monday off as amended?
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? No. Then, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Okay, motion carries. Sure. Go right ahead.
Leave your microphone on the desk. Leave your microphone on the desk. I just heard the story. I wasn't here when it happened.
We have this clip-on microphone. And the former commissioner.
Yeah.
Didn't think about it. and-
Mention what ward, Ward 1. No.
It was down here.
I just wish we had recorded that then.
Took it up with him. I don't think he realized, because when he came out, everybody laughed. And he didn't know what we were laughing at. Well, I can go ahead and at least introduce this next item. There won't be any explanation much, I would hope, until he gets back. So we'll go on to agenda item number 4, Cherry Street reconstruction and drainage, VRMP CEI fee amendment number 1. And the city manager is gonna have this item, explain this item.
I'm thinking I wanted that, man. I'm thinking that, I'll go to
Okay, he's back, so go ahead.
Thank you. Get colder.
Okay, you want to go ahead and
Alright, the basics of it is DRMP, they do the CEI for the Cherry Street project. And of course, due to the delays in the project with utility conflicts and the utility conflict management, and all the additional engineering that they have to review, the CEIs required by the state have been depleted. And so this represents estimates for an additional 12-month extension of the CEI services. It is a time and materials contract extension and will only be billed as such. And should the project extend, they may be back if we run out of CEI funds for this. I do have Eddie Lewis, who is with the RDP, who can answer questions about that. The CEI is required by the state. We have to have it. And I will honestly tell you, there's a lot of projects when I don't need a CEI. This project, by far, even if it is a requirement, they have been very peaceful with us and helping us mitigate the utility conflicts that the utility conflict management and that the state threw on us at the last minute. And we can get that done at a very reduced price. Eddie, you want to add anything?
I don't have much to add, just any questions I can try to answer.
Anybody have questions?
This is after the fact, it's already happened, right? How do you know that we're gonna expend that much money in the next 12 months?
This is just
Is this a pot of money we're giving you?
it's an additional, fee for the continuing
Work that's already been
services
done.
for the CEI services.
No, not when we did that.
No.
I'm asking the question, yeah.
We already had them under contract.
I understand
And
that.
it's for time and materials. And so you got 2 senior managers and 1
Yeah, we've got,
on-site guys for this.
we've got a senior project engineer, a project administrator, and an inspector.
I'm just trying to figure out where you came up with it, $233,000.
Yeah, it's, did they send in anything for the agenda? It's got the breakout right here. It's far as estimated hours and all.
So, yeah, they go through and they do an estimate on
It may or
12
may
months
not
how
happen.
much.
It may or may not happen.
Yeah.
They will only bill for time and material.
Right.
That's the only reason why I was asking the question.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not done yet, and they'll bill us for what they do, and it may not be that much.
And that's gonna come out of the infrastructure.
Yes, sir.
Anybody else have questions?
Do we have to do the full year? Can we do it quarterly, or should we do the full year?
Do the full year.
Yeah.
No, we're gonna have.
We know we're a year. We know we're a year.
Yeah, I believe this has got a year, maybe plus,
I know.
to finish this project.
I think it's done before the year's up. And they,
That would be great.
yeah, that's it. It's not like we said, well, you approved it for a year, so they're gonna keep on working even though it's done.
Exactly.
So if we negated even doing this, any state grants that are tied to this are no longer available to us.
Yes, this is gonna get paid, like Eddie said, from the asset sales tax.
Anybody else up here?
Nope.
Nothing. Thank you, so.
Yes, ma'am.
Anyone in the audience have any comment on this item? Yes, ma'am.
Tracy Langston, 6031 Wright Street. Okay, I just want to make sure I'm understanding correctly. We're just not going out this money to them. It's going to be billed as they use it. And how
They bill.
often do they bill us? Is it going to be like monthly?
We get billed monthly, yes.
All right, and those will be available to whomever the citizens if they want to see them, or
Yes.
are they detailed, or do they just give you hours and do
They have
say what
details,
they've
they have
done?
details with progress notes that are attached to all. That shows what happened in that month. I mean, what the, other than, I mean, we know like where you see the full one. Okay, so the one means we have somebody that's on site every day, out of 8 hours a day, that works the full entire time. We have to have an inspector on site.
Yeah.
All work hours. Isn't that true, Ed?
Yes.
I don't want to say something that's not right.
Yes, that's right, that's why.
So we have an inspector that's there every day. And then you have senior inspectors, and that's why they're billed at a lower rate, but they're either used or they're not used. So the bills fluctuate.
Okay. I was just wondering how they bill it. You said they're gonna bill it monthly?
Yes, we get billed monthly.
Okay. All right, thank you.
We had inspectors at the bridge site every day too.
Yes.
They are
On site
every time I drove by there, so they're drove.
Yes.
Having coffee.
In fact, it's the same guy.
He's gotta be there, that's,
Yeah, right, I know.
not always something for him to do, but he's got to be
Yeah.
there to watch what's going on.
Yeah.
Did anybody else want to comment on this item? Not seeing anybody, it's back to us. If someone would like to make a motion,
Motion to approve Cherry Street reconstruction of drainage DRMP CIP amendment number 1.
do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second, is there any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carried. We will go on to item number 5. Hugh Thomas Panhandle Engineering Change Order number 1, no cost.
Even though this is an increase in the engineering fees, this CDBG project experienced many county utility conflicts. These are all the issues, Commissioner, that happened out on Highway 22, where I do a lot of work. And so it required additional engineering to resolve the issues. The engineer requested additional funds to cover the costs associated with both and the CEI. State funds allowed for the project exceeded the construction and engineering bid cost, and a request was made to the state to expend a portion of the additional engineering cost. Final construction costs came in at $20,000 under budget, and the additional funds for the engineering were approved. Grant management agrees with the request while this change order is a cost increase, it is a no cost to the city and state funds will cover it. The remaining funds for the project will be cost shifted into the Sandy Creek Sewer Project. So that particular CDBG program, if you remember, it started off as Sandy Creek. The state came in, they had additional funds. They added Hugh Thomas into that for another 2.6 million. So when we put all the bids in, basically, we came in at the total bid cost. I'm gonna make sure I get this right. Overall, we had 2.68 million, but the construction came in well under, and the engineering was under. So we signed a contract for not to exceed amounts for both of those contracts. But the money still stays with the state until the project closes out. So we still had the additional money. So the easiest way to do it is you can't cost shift from engineering and CEI to construction because those are two separate contracts. So the state approved us expending the additional funds that they had in their budget. That's why it's a no cost to us, but it is a cost increase to the engineering contract. So we're asking for permission to increase their engineering cost, which the state will cover. And we did come in 20,000 under budget on construction. And then the additional funds that are left, which I think is another 60,000, all of that money that's extra will cost shift over into the Sandy Creek project for construction.
Looks like 32,000.
It's a lot to comprehend. That's why we have a grant manager on this one.
Anybody have any question for city manager on this?
Now, I did sign off on the change order for the reduction because it was a reduction of funds, so I changed off on it.
Yeah, we don't mind if you sign off on the reduction.
I put it in there. Did we put it in there, Ashley? No.
Did anybody in the audience want to comment on this no cost change order? Don't see anybody. So.
And I'll go ahead and get something off my list and say that they're supposed to be starting on that fence any day. We're waiting on them to show up.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't have it on my list.
Oh, yeah, we talked about it.
Yeah, we talked about it.
Okay. Nobody in the audience had anything to say on this, so would someone like to make a motion?
Motion, Hugh Thomas, Panhandle Engineering Change Order number 1, no cost.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And we will go on to our last item, number 6, Civic Plus Recreational Management Software. City manager.
So, Tim and Caleb have been dealing with trying to manage our facilities. When we say facilities, we're not just talking about building rental, but this also is everything from the volleyball court to the basketball court to the tennis courts to the pavilions and everything else when people want to reserve these things. And so, they're just it's a very hassle right now on being able to try to track and manage all of these things, especially we have some issues with how things are being paid and the deposits and how we run all that. So leisure services need software to track, schedule, and pay for facility rentals to include pavilions, courts, buildings, etc. Our current website provider, Civic Plus, has a module that will integrate into our website to provide this for our residents. It will also provide payment portals. This will reduce staff time and potential conflict and errors while giving the residents a smooth and easy way to book and pay for facilities online. The initial term and setup are $10,088 with a second year fee of $7,500, and the contract states that they can only go up no more than 5%. And I think it's based on CPI, right, Tim? And Tim, I'm gonna let you get up and explain a little bit about how staff time works on this and how, and y'all have the slides in there that talks about how that, I didn't prepare to put this on the screen. So.
Is that 5%, the 7,000 on the 7,000?
It's basically $3,000 setup. is what it is.
We're gonna try that.
We have to integrate all our stuff to get it in there. And then once it's in there, Tim will be able to manage everything.
Looks about right.
So the
That
annual,
is included in the ten. That's
Yes.
where the ten comes from.
That's where the team comes from.
the annual fee is $7,500.
The annual fee is $7,500.
Plus 5%. Or plus 5% after next year.
Well, up to 5%.
After next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and fill you in a little bit. We kind of went down a rabbit hole to get here, but, one of the biggest things that has been coming up over the weekends lately is sand volleyball, basketball, tennis, and the pickleball courts, and people not being able to get on, or being there and waiting for over an hour, 2 hours, and they're texting me pictures over the weekend, they're like, we gotta do something about this. And so, we have ways worked out that we're renting out our buildings and our pavilions, which we're up to 11 pavilions now that we rent out. Anyway, so we looked at a lot of different solutions. There's different apps that we can get to use for like the pickleball courts and the tennis court and sand volleyball and stuff. But then we started looking at, a lot of the different things we do. We've improved some of our processes. We're using the Adobe sign paperwork and we're emailing it back and forth to people. But we would cut out a whole lot of steps if we did this through our website. And there's other things that are coming up down the road that we're not there yet. But for ADA compliance, this would bring us up to where we need to be in the next 2 years on ADA compliance. And included in this from Civic Plus, because they are our website people, there would be a discount on when the city has to update the rest of the website, because we're going ahead and putting this ADA module as part of the module that we're getting. And, so we'll be able to, people will be able to go on, and all the calendars will be online for every building, for 18 different sports fields, just all the different things that we rent out. And we're looking at like things with the basketball and tennis courts. We don't have a fee attached to those now. We would attach a small fee, whether it's $5 an hour or something like that, just to keep people from booking up time when they're not serious about it. That was one of the things we ran into years ago when community center was first at one point when I first started working here. And we would have people that would reserve the building and you go by there all day long and nobody's there. So that was, part of the thought process is we'll add a small fee to booking some of these things that we don't usually book that are first come, first served. But that will solve a problem. And, like I said, a lot of people end up with my phone number and I get texts and pictures and all kinds of things.
So what's the cost for the website? You said there's gonna be a discount. What do we pay for the website now?
Tim,
Yeah.
I would have to look at that contract. I don't have it on me right now.
But I know the number they threw out was it would save the city about $2,000 towards upgrading.
But we don't have a number for that. I don't know why you can't give us a number this evening.
Why don't we table it till next time?
Well, what number are you asking about?
Well, we already-
the city website is already
We're
approved.
tabled, we can't discuss it anymore, stop discussing, it's tabled.
Y'all would have to email me what
Yeah,
y'all want.
tell
I'll send you an
them what
email. I've got quite a few questions.
Yeah,
send you
send
an
you an
email.
email, and that way you can discuss it and vote on it at the next meeting. Okay, that brings us up to Washington and staff comments. I have just a few things. It's been a busy couple of weeks, Colonel Burkholm is now gone from Tyndall, he's on his way to Korea in fact. but there have been several events regarding his farewell. I presented a certificate of appreciation to him for what Tyndall has done to help our community. And then he also, there was his change of command, a reception for the new Colonel Cleveland, who is now the commander of the 325th Fighter Group. We had another house dedication at the Habitat Village last Thursday. There was another one this Thursday at 11 o'clock. City manager and I were at the one last Thursday, but it is 11 o'clock this Thursday. This is the second Bill Kramer house that's going to be dedicated. The one that we did last week was the credit union, the 7 credit unions that came together. So the young lady and her son have moved into that house. There'll be another family moving in this week or next week. No, this week. Okay, the fishing rodeo was great. I know the 3 of us that were working the registration table, it looked like we registered about 175 kids. Did you have a final count?
It was 179.
179, well, we were pretty close, but it was a good turnout. I do want to say, because I've worked that registration table for many years, but it did, the pre-registration really did help. It made things go a lot smoother. So hopefully next year we can get even more people to pre-register, because it went smoother for them and for us. But it was great. People were excited. We had a good turnout. People enjoyed themselves. And I tell you, I'm impressed with those trophies that we give away. They are nice trophies. And then the last thing, a couple of us met today, city manager and Adam and I met with Dan Sowell to talk about the impacts that the upcoming legislation could have on our budget, you know, the property tax issues, just to get the impacts of what that could do to Callaway's revenues. City manager does have, I believe you have copies of the information that was provided by Mr. Sowell that he can give to y'all, that you can look at.
Sure.
So, sorry. Well, I mean, you can just pass them. I don't know if,
Actually,
do you have any extra for this or not? Well, I don't know in case anybody in the audience. I don't need one, I don't.
This is
set up to be.
And if anybody's interested, what we're looking at is, the first year, where they're talking about the $150,000 exemption, the city would lose approximately $606,000 in revenue. In year 2, when it goes up to $250,000, we would lose an additional $256,000. So over a 2-year period, we would then be sitting at about $863,000 impact to the budget. What they couldn't tell us was how the 5-year plan, where if you've been a resident for 5 years after that, they don't have a plan for that yet at the property appraiser. They're trying to work through that. These are just, but these are numbers without the 5 year.
And there are going to be a lot of questions about that, because it's going to be, will there be any kind of military exemption? The military would not have to wait the 5 years. Just like if there's a resident from someplace else in Florida, they would probably not have to wait the 5 years. So there's going to be a lot of confusion about that 5-year.
And that'll all be determined.
Yes, at a later date.
But right now, the maximum impact that we'd be looking at for the first year would be $606,000.
Based on today's.
Based on today's numbers.
That could change.
And then in year 2, it'd be an additional $256,000 on top of that. So that basically, in year 2, it'd be an $863,000 into the budget. So this is just something to think about for budget time when it comes up. We'll be looking at plug-in numbers. Not so much, and this is not for next year's budget. Next year's budget will not be affected. We'll go through a normal budget season this year. But we do need to be looking at it for the future and how we handle it. So I just wanted to give you make sure y'all have the preliminary numbers so y'all
Have you set a budget schedule
We're gonna set that at the next meeting.
Pretty soon?
Yeah. The next meeting, we will set our budget, workshop.
That was all I had. So we'll start with Commissioner Burns, so doesn't have anything for the group.
I also got to go to fishing rodeo. Had a good time. My 7-year-old absolutely loved it. Even though she didn't catch anything.
Are you sure she loved it? Because she didn't look.
She has her moments. We went fishing that night.
I saw her under the pavilion. Actually, what little bit she did.
I got a question for Mr. Cook.
There's some extras right there.
The fence, you said it's gonna get started hopefully tomorrow.
I didn't give it time, they just said it was in the next week or two.
And that's our last, yes, our last meeting, they were supposed to start.
They're coming in from South Florida to do it. They have an independent contractor that works for their company, and he's coming in to do it.
So there's not a firm timeline on. Okay. Something else?
Okay, Commissioner Briggs?
Just one thing, and that's, Tim complimenting the fishing rodeo. Once again, we've been doing this for 23 years, and Leisure Services is doing a heck of a job. Of course, the fire department's showing up with a couple of trucks and doing some exhibitions, et cetera, but nothing but accolades for the Leisure Services Department. And this is probably my last one, as, at least as a commissioner. But I've been to probably over 20 of that rodeo. And it's, once again, I'm a broken record when it's complimenting Leisure Services.
That it?
Thank you.
And that pavilion helped out.
Yeah, people love that. That was great. Commissioner Pelletier?
Just a few items. City manager, can you update us on Sakoshi Drive?
Yes, I have.
When you get to your point. Also James Cruz.
Yes, sir.
And, all these water leaks that are being created, and I asked you the question, I don't think I ever got an answer, by contractors. Are we billing them for this, or is this eating up the cost?
No, we build them.
Can I see it?
That big one on, they're pulling the bills together right now on.
Okay, when I see the payment on it, we bill that gas station on 98, $10,000. I don't think we ever got a penny back. City attorney, remember? It's been years and years ago. Yeah. But what I'm saying is, we talk about billing, but I never see money coming in. So I'd like to see the receipt of that when it comes in, please.
Oh, the receipt.
On Habitat, are you sending emails to the commission? Am I the only one that doesn't know what's going on?
I am not quite sure what happened on that particular one. I got a phone call that said there's Habitat dedication, so I
got an email.
I get an email.
I'll double check
from
on.
I get an Habitat.
Yeah.
And I saw
think they had
Angela
a-
someplace and she asked me if I was gonna be there.
Okay.
I think there was a glitch in the communication on that one, because I got a phone call that said, you don't get Habitat. I'm like, yeah. And so I ran out there.
I used to get the email, I don't get it anymore. The only reason I knew about this was on the news afterwards.
Thursday at 11.
I'll send them
And send a reminder.
and I'll send everybody's email and make sure that.
Yes.
All the rest.
The last thing is that, have we done anything with planning for Veterans Day, or are we just gonna scratch that?
It's on my list.
Pardon?
It's on my list too.
Okay.
Yeah, we were gonna discuss that. We can go ahead and talk about the parade right if you want to. So, I met with the contractor and, fortunately, the CEI was involved in this meeting. And they feel very confident they're gonna have that section of road to the extent, what do you say, 80%?
Yeah, I think what his intent was is to have the first, well, to have the structural.
Hey, come on up. It's on the spot.
Yeah, well.
I believe what the contractor's intent is to have the first structural or the structural lift of asphalt on, before that time frame. That's his goal anyway.
From Bertha all the way down to, Veterans Park?
From Bertha to Jan.
Yes.
To Jan.
Jan's where we stopped right now.
South Jan, that's right.
Well, the parade can continue, that's right. We would just line up either down Bertha or down,
Oh, okay.
or Beulah. We could do the lineups on either one of those.
But you expect the paving to be done?
The first lift, which would be an inch and a half. I mean, it'll still look like it's just, we're gonna put another one over top of it. So they're gonna work diligently because they wanna try to meet this timeline. Me and Tim discussed it, and Tim, what'd you say, August?
Yes, we can make a firm decision first week in August.
So our goal was, let's give them a little bit more time to see how far they get to make sure we don't run into any more issues. And then if they can pull it off, we're gonna go ahead and plan to have the parade. But on August 1st, we can't pull a firm date. We're gonna pull it and reevaluate. We'll do
That's
something.
Plan B.
We'll go to Plan B, which will be out here.
Yeah.
If everybody's okay with that.
Is that anything on your list, cause he's got, okay, Commissioner Ayers?
Yes, ma'am. Met with the city manager the last couple of weeks, often, once a week. And we did visit the Habitat for Humanity, our, housing units out there. We've got 4 completed, and we got a 5th one almost done. And it's beautiful. All the homes look great, the layouts are great. I think we got about 8 more to go, but, I'm real proud to tell them. Ma'am?
There'll be 15 total.
15 total, so we have 10 more to go. I'm so proud of Callaway for doing that and actually getting those homes in. You guys would be real proud of if you go out there. It's on Common Drive. Went to the fishing rodeo, fire department, great job. Leisure services, fantastic. It was the first time I've ever gone to one of these and I really enjoyed it. It was definitely hot and I'm glad you guys had that pavilion done. So it really came in handy. We also looked at some of the citizens' complaints. We looked at Michael Drive. We looked at Shikoshi's ditch, impressive. So it is deep, it is dangerous. So, we did drive by 555 Kendall Parkway, John Phillips property, and that's all I have.
City Clerk, do you have anything for us tonight? You did go to the conference? Great conference. Got a lot of knowledge? Yeah. Perfect.
She brought back some good stuff.
But she was showing me a little bit of what she did. So.
She brought back some good stuff.
Perfect. Nothing? Well, that gets us to you.
All right. I received an email from Jeff Carter on the Beacon Point situation. He said after sending in the band, it took some time to get it in the right hands, ultimately to the entity's new counsel that they have representing them, which is Scott Remington, and they've had phone conversations set for Thursday morning to discuss whether a resolution can be reached or whether the suit will be filed. And he will update me after speaking with him on Thursday. So there's your big update, Captain. I can't say nothing because it's a conflict. Sandy Creek is still an environmental, big surprise. And we thought we were just about to get the spillway environmental approved, and they sent through another set of RFIs last week. So I don't think it's going to take long for us to get the spillway clearance. We are putting together packages for the resiliency money for grant opportunities. There's also a second little pool of money that I'm not going to say out loud because I don't want other cities to know, but we're going after a bunch of money in it right now. So hopefully we'll have some additional grant opportunities that are going to come up. The grants are they're drying up, people. Right now, I can't get a grant that's not a 50/50 match.
It's because you're spending all their money on extra.
holidays.
Extra holidays. It was already budgeted.
Yes.
Their personnel, they're just telling people they don't have to come in.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's it. Lift stations, we have started our final, lift station has started. It's the one at the end of Kimbrell. That's the one they're gonna be raising up. And that'll be 5 of them that we'll have completed. These are all part of the master water and sewer study that we did. And we'll continue on down that list, and that's what we're actually going for mostly right now. I would love to say there's paving grants out there, but there's no such, the word paving and grant just does not, they don't go together. It's almost like I'm cussing at everybody. So we should be under time on the lift stations when it gets done. Sakoshi Ditch, I talked with Joel at the county that we do not have access, no matter how we look at it. Bigger than us, we do not have the machinery to be able to get it. Yeah, we need Callaway. Joel's got a spider, the county has offered it up. I sent him maps, and he is pushing it down to Keith Bryant, and Keith Bryant is supposed to be on the schedule as soon as possible. And basically, the county's agreed to come in and assist us with this ditch and maintenance of it. So they'll enter probably off Lois and work their way down from there, where we have access to.
We may have to clear some of the property on Lois for them to get in.
There might be a little bit, but we can get access to it without a problem. And they can access from another piece of property too. That's down in the fire station, Chief. What street is that? No, not the fire station. It's the one before. What's the road?
Jamal, is that Walker?
Yeah, it's Walker. Yeah. Walker, yeah. So we might be able to access off Walker. We're going to put a package there.
So when you say clean up, explain to us what you just.
So they have what's called a spider.
I understand that, but they don't just clean the property up and nothing else.
They can only clean the ditch. So there is no room to clear paths or anything like that. And the ditch is too deep for us to even get any of our machinery in. We went down with that. We do not have, we can't get that far down in and get it clean adequately. So they're gonna just start in and go down there. It's vegetation is what it is. And we'll go through and see what they can do. I'm sure they probably went out and looked at it, like you did, Joel. So, but I'll be checking with Keith. We played a little phone tag today. And so we'll see, but he's committed to go out there and run that spider down. And that's gonna be our best bet overall. And the county did offer that it was just gonna be in kind. They work real well with us. Cherry Street's moving right along. We got that intersection at Comet finished up. Comet's finished, right?
Yes, we
got all the structures relocated and shit.
It's not finished, but all the structures are in and it's back traversable. So, yes, that was a major accomplishment right there.
So now we're looking at hopefully smooth out and go down.
It's been running pretty well right now.
Yeah.
So
They're getting sticks on the ground.
I don't want to jinx it, but it's been going pretty good.
And so that's what we were hoping for. We knew these two places there between the houses where the road bed was bad. Road bed's looking good though.
Yes.
Compaction's all passing, so as we would continue to move down.
That's right.
And so we're gonna try to push all the way on down to Bertha.
Yes.
And then, and they're also forming up in that one area. They got the
For the curb and
gutters are in.
Right.
And so they're pushing. We'll see how that.
Are we ever gonna see a schedule? I've been asking for 2.5 months.
What do I ask at every meeting? Just confirm that I'm always going, where's my schedule? You're supposed to send me a schedule.
And then Stu, what's happening with Star in the county?
The last I heard, the county had sent out more,
RFIs.
Right, RFIs and, if I remember correctly, the concern is is downstream. The county has a 42-inch pipe, and we're ending with two 30-inch, so.
That ain't gonna work.
Yeah, I think that the structure that's there is a bubbler, and I don't know if, the designer is trying to convince that bubbler will, I guess, retard enough of a flow that 42-inch pipe can handle the outfall, so, but that's the last I heard it was that from the designer.
How about the closure? They had issues with closing that road.
That's the reason. That was they're not, I guess, sold on the idea of the design.
Because this is an issue with design that's gonna be 1 or 2 days.
Yes.
Based on the length. That-
Yeah, the length of the closures.
Yeah, they said 4 days,
Right.
and there's no way 4 days is gonna happen.
There's no problem.
I know that, yeah.
That we can get that accomplished in a few days. So that's all I know where it's at this point. It's in the designer's court right at the moment.
So we're gonna have a change order.
I don't think so.
I don't know
how you're gonna reduce from what we're doing down to that.
Well, we can't reduce our size.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
And so, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what the bubbler is.
It's gonna be interesting at that.
You wanna explain what bubbler
is? It's, all the pipes converge into a structure that's fairly deep, and then the water has to rise. You'll have to back up, rise the level in the structure, and then it just bubbles out the top once it gets to enough pressure from before it to push that water that high. So it will, in the pipes that we have, they're gonna hold a certain amount of water. It's kind of just like staging.
It's like a retention.
Right.
Yeah, it's at Cherry Street. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yes.
Just make sure you don't want to explain anything else. So I met with our turnkey papers, took them to all of our sites, looked at everything, and the JH Cruise issue was becoming a little bit more of an issue than we thought. They looked at it, and we're going to pull a core sample on it because it looks like the base underneath it's not existent.
I'm not surprised.
If we do that, then we're going to have to excavate that 6,000 square foot area. And then we would have to come back and put probably crushed concrete in it to re-secure the base and then overlay it. And he's giving me a price on that.
I think based on most of that part of that road is not there.
It's just, that's where all the water goes. That's what it is. It's low and the base is filled. So he's supposed to have me a quote this week to see what's in that. And last but not least, I just threw this one on here because a lot of people, for some reason, are saying Nexite didn't do anything for us. So I'm going to kind of set the record straight. Our Aldi's came out of Nexite. The Whataburger came out of Nexite. The new hotel down by McDonald's came out of Nexite. That North Hotel, that Hampton, that's all the way up on the north end that never would build, they went out and found a developer and then presented it to the Hampton Inn that they had somebody that would buy it and would go ahead and start construction, and that pushed them over the edge so that they're now under construction. The Rib Crib came from them, Slim Chickens came through them, and the big development there behind Walmart that the Klotz Group had developed, but then they pulled out because of the financial issues. That all came through that site. Those are just the ones that I can think of right off the hand of the ones that they were very instrumental in bringing. And then some of the other ones they did help us out with, and they were helping us fill Beacon Point at the time when we thought we were going to be ready they were talking to some big boxes for us. There's not gonna be a big box in there now. That in parcel is now gonna be split up into 4 or 5 different individual smaller businesses, so. But those are the main ones that Nexite actually did bring in. And they were very instrumental in helping with a couple of other large developments. I will later.
Their contract is expired and will not renew.
That is correct. I think we only had 1 year that we paid the full contract. Remember the first 2 or 3 years, the chamber paid our portion for the first 2. Well, it was gonna be 1 or 2 years, and then because of Hurricane Michael, they went ahead and picked up. This Bay County Chamber of Commerce paid for an economic developer to work for us. We were one of the, you can ask Nexite, we're one of the few communities that actually utilized them very heavily. A lot of people didn't, and there was a lot of properties that they could have really ripped out. But yeah, they had, I know for a fact, they had 2 or 3 big boxes that was looking at over in Parker. Parker wasn't participating, so they weren't renting a property that
They had one in Callaway for them.
Yeah. And so I think we only paid 1, maybe 2 years of full price, which was like $7,000 is what we paid. But they do still have all our data and everything that I have access to. And I just don't, at this point right now, we're not in a position, we're really running out of properties. We've got a couple that we can deal with. We do have Gold Coast Parkway coming up at St. Joe, owns all that, so they're gonna have to make decisions on that. And then, I would think that, once 22 gets widened, it might be worth to look at them and see what they could bring them down 22.
Most of that's county though, right?
Yeah, some of it is, but we would advocate for them to annex it. But yeah, there's a long story behind all these if anybody wants to hear about it. But we had a handshake agreement with Aldi's that they were gonna put the first store in Callaway. The problem is there were 5 different parcel property owners that they were purchasing by proxy, meaning Aldi's wasn't going up and saying, hey, we're gonna put an Aldi's in. So they were trying to secure the property. So, as you know, if one person finds out, then the price of that sucker's gonna skyrocket through the roof. So they had to purchase Aldi's. In the meantime, their second site that they were looking at was in Lincoln. And so, but that was site ready. And they actually did come to us and said, we agreed, we put the first one there, but we have a parcel ready. And I said, go build it. It's not gonna affect us. And so the one in Lynn Haven actually got built. But it was respectful that they came to us and said, hey, we give you the first one since you work with us. So, but we ended up with all, so that was. That's all I got, unless I missed anything.
Okay. We will read the announcements. Okay, so now we have to make an adjustment here. It says July 3rd, all, city offices will be closed. Now it will be the 3rd and the 6th. So the 3rd and the 6th, city offices will be closed. Does it look like we'll have a planning board meeting on July 7th?
Probably not.
Okay, probably not. And then our next commission meeting will be July 14th, right here. I can't think of anything else that would be happening in these 2 weeks.
First Friday's gonna be on the 10th.
On the 10th, yes. Anybody else with anything? I think that's all I'm aware of. We'll go on to public participation, so who wants to speak with us? Yes, ma'am.
Kathy Christodoulou, 224 Secoshie Drive. I just have a couple of questions for clarification about the ditch cleaning. What is the timeline? How soon is that going to be starting?
I don't know. I asked Joel, I told him we really needed it expedited. And of course, Commissioner Robert Carroll, County Commissioner, he's involved too. And I've been talking with him about helping me hurry it up. So I'm honestly, what I'm waiting on now is I'm waiting for Keith Bryant, who is the assistant county manager, which is gonna be handling the scheduling. I'm waiting on him to let me know, and they might be able to get it on their schedule.
Okay, and then is this gonna be an annual thing where it's gonna be maintained, or we're gonna have to come back every 5 years and back for help?
I have asked him to put it on his schedule for me. Now, I don't know what that means. I don't know if that's 2 times a year, 1 time a year, but I will find out what that is.
Okay.
Because if you ask us, we run our schedule once a month. But I don't know how the county runs theirs. It's a lot bigger, so.
Yeah.
I don't know if they do twice a year or.
Twice a year would be great.
Yeah. I would hope it would be twice.
That's a decade long.
You're gonna love seeing that machine. Things, wow.
Yeah.
It's 6 legs.
I'm really interested to see that. Okay, and then, yeah, the annual thing where that would be really good, because hurricane season is here, so if we get a heavy rain event, we gotta worry about the backup, so the sooner that can start, yeah. But thank you for that. And thank you.
Who else wants to speak? Mr. Shaner?
Ron Shank at the 711 Cabin Circle. You mentioned the property tax thing, you know. I, for one, don't like my home being on the easy, the low roof farm to pick on, you know. We've got 3 different, 15 different people that can make bad decisions. You seem to do a pretty fair job. You know, what my Callaway end of it, it's not what scares me. It's the other 2, the county and the school. And they're all tied to my home, you know. There's 15 people that can make bad decisions there, 5. Then we got the county, there are 5, and then the school board, there are 5. They can all make stupid decisions, and my home's on the hook for it, or the home is. I don't want no tax connected to my home, none. There's a different way of doing it. You start down the street, if it's closed off, you go a different way. If that's closed off, you go a different way, and the same with these taxes. There's different ways of getting them, besides, putting people's homes on the line for it. And that's just, that's the way I look at it. I got 15 people deciding whether I can stay in my home or not, or whether I gotta find a refrigerator box to live in. So, anyway, I observed what went on here tonight. You make decisions. But if the carrot gets big enough, you grab it. That's what happened here tonight. You got rules, you make rules and all these regulations, but when the carrot gets big enough, you go for it. What you decide to, try or don't count. So, it's interesting. Thank you.
Mr. Shaner. Who else wants to? Yes, ma'am.
Karen Custer, 216 Landing Drive. Mayor Henderson, people have asked me why I haven't attended some of the commission meetings lately. I was a trustee of VFW Post 8205 until about 2 weeks ago, and their meetings are the second Tuesday. And I was also on the board of directors of Kiwanis Club, and they met on the 4th Tuesday. And so that's why I haven't been here for a while, but that's all over with now, so I can start coming back to commission meetings. And I've also attended very few events since I was in the hospital in May. So you may not see me at fishing rodeos and things, but eventually I'll be back to being okay. I wasn't able to walk 10 feet and talk at the same time, which is usually a joke, but I really couldn't. So anyway, we're getting better. A different subject. On June 19th, I published a Facebook post on the Beacon of Bay County about flock cameras. So far, I've had 2,727 views. So I just emailed this to you, so you don't have to take a bunch of notes. There were a lot of comments, and there's a tremendous amount of interest in flock cameras around the country, especially in having them removed. And so as of a few hours ago, 890 people signed the Change.org petition to remove the flock cameras from Bay County. And so there's a lot of noise that's starting. There's going to be something on Saturday, a protest and all that stuff. Has nothing to do with me, I'm just mentioning it. But Mayor Henderson, please be so kind as to tell us who authorized the lease and installation of the flock cameras that are in Callaway? Did you know about or approve the installation before it was done? Did the city manager know and approve the installation before it was done? Did the Callaway Commission approve installation of these cameras? If none of you approved them, how did we get them? How many were leased and installed? When were they leased and installed? What was the cost to lease and install? Who selected the locations? Who installed them? And what's the source of funds for the lease and installation? And what's the cost, the annual subscription cost? And then where do the funds come from to pay all that next year? The most important, how soon can we get rid of them? Because the protests are starting. The last comment, Flock has plans to add the capability of live feed and 15-second videos when we pull up to a camera. That's kind of creepy to me. It's kind of like searching your car without probable cause. Once you take a video,
Okay, I'm sorry, you're talking, but, I will, anyway. Yes, you have answers to those.
I got one. Can I ask you, what is a flock camera?
Aren't they the ones that read license?
They'll read it's license plate readers, but they're.
Okay.
Yeah, so most, a lot of times the police departments will come and advocate them.
I didn't hear, the last page is mine.
I'll do my best to answer
Okay.
most of these questions. The sheriff's department, they pay for it. They do the installation, they do everything. It's in the public right of way. And so the legality behind it, I don't know. They're our sheriff's office, but there was never an agreement signed with the city for anything that had to do with the multiple flock cameras that were around. And so expense wise, there's no expense to us.
Yeah, that's check the Bay County and Sheriff's Office.
Yeah, it's all in the
police department's always
Sheriff's
advocated, but they're expensive.
Yeah. They $2,500 a month. Yeah. The reason that I know that is because the city of Callaway actually has one. We did, and it was, I think, $2,500. We had such a horrible outbreak of people that were dumping. We were attempting to use trail cams, and trail cams just wasn't working. We couldn't get good clear in the videos and stuff like that. So we actually did use a flock camera. We put it in different locations where we had illegal dumping. They proved not to be as effective as we thought it was. We don't have the contract anymore. In fact, they sent a renewal, and I said, well, there's one sitting right now outside of City Hall. So when people drive out, it'll give you, basically, it'll zoom in and give you a picture of the license plate. There's no video or anything like that.
But that's Callaway's or the sheriff's?
It does, it belongs to, well, we have a lease agreement on it, yes. We were trying to attempt to see if we could catch some of the illegal dumping that was going on, which, I mean, that is rampant around here. And so, but, we successfully got some, but none of it ever led to anything that we could prosecute over.
Is that actually a flock camera or just a camera for surveillance?
No, it's a flock camera.
It is a flock camera, okay.
You can go and check if we have some illegal dumping, we go out and check it, but it was not as effective as what we thought it would be, so we terminated the contract. They haven't picked it up yet. And it's sitting actually outside of City Hall, I believe the battery's dead on it. They wanted to, we could have upgraded and got one that had a solar panel. That just draws way too much attention. for what we were doing. So we were using it off battery power, and we didn't go out and pull a battery and stick a new one on it. They have little batteries that come with it, but it's, that was just strictly, that's what we were utilizing it for.
And it's gonna go away.
Yeah,
Soon as they pick it up.
yeah. But as far as, you know, all the cameras and the locations, all that was basically determined by the sheriff's office. I don't think we were even notified where they were gonna go. There was really never any notification.
It's only one in Callaway.
No.
One that I knew of.
Is that for traffic control? Or?
No, it doesn't give speed or anything like that.
No, it's more crime prevention,
Yeah.
and especially more so on the beach.
So
They're a little
I'll be
bit safe than
more than happy to
I
answer if there's something specific that I can answer. I'll do the best I can. But there was never, it doesn't affect our budget. It doesn't. We didn't have any say so in what the sheriff's office did with their cameras.
Yes, sir.
Martin Bossler, 6303 Wallace Road. To answer the question of what the flock camera cost is, I know that cost. I can tell you what that cost is. That's our freedom. Get those things out, please. My license plate number is 9101.
We already know.
4 digits.
I'm sorry, I had to do
Yeah.
it. I'm sorry.
Those, that they are a sacrifice of our freedoms. I've had very bad things happen to me. Very bad things happen to my family members, and I would not trade our freedoms to have that camera find that person who did that. Not at all. Never.
Somebody else like to comment on anything? Yes, sir.
David Augustus, 6609 Franklin Street. Madam Mayor, I'd like to take this time to recognize Commissioner Briggs, as he alluded to earlier, even though he didn't say the exact words about his final time at a fishing rodeo. As we know, he's going to be moving on after November. I'd like to take this time to recognize him. And the audience here, those watching live, and those that will watch the city video later on at their own time, saw that he and I have had our disagreements. Tonight we disagreed on two different things, but at the same time, it doesn't undo, in my view, the overall good he has done for our city and the 8+ years he has served as commissioner. I mean, I've had the honor of meeting Mrs. Briggs when they come in and shop where I work at, and when I talk with him, you know, he never brings up city business, but sometimes I will. I'll bring it up to him since he's a commissioner and I'm a citizen, and he's always been kind enough to listen to me. And if he's ever disagreed with me, he's never told me that personally, and he's never said it here. But I think the best thing he and Mrs. Briggs ever did was what all of our neighbors did in the days and weeks after Hurricane Michael. He was a fellow Callaway neighbor, and his missus was one as well. They helped their own Callaway neighbors as well. Even whenever he had to be here to help the city continue running until we could get some semblance more of functioning than what we already had during those days, if he wasn't there to help his neighbors, Mrs. Briggs was. And Mr. Briggs, I know, like I said earlier, we've had our disagreements. Tonight we did. But I personally want to thank you for your service, and I ask that during your remaining months, you'll continue putting the citizens first. And I know Mr. Briggs is not perfect. I'm not perfect. And if he was perfect, I'm sorry to say this, but somebody would nail him to a cross. He was perfect. And we only know there was only one perfect man. We know what happened to him. But Mr. Briggs, thank you for your service, and I hope during these remaining months, you'll continue to serve the people in the best way you can. Put Callaway's people first, because they are the real leaders of Callaway. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
You're welcome.
Who else wants to make a comment on anything, Ms. Langston?
Well, I was told a few minutes ago to use my 3 minutes, so here I am. Use my 3 minutes. So I guess I was talking to some citizens and about about the fishing rodeo this Saturday. And I know that we had 2 commissioners that weren't able to attend, and we had 2 commissioners and the mayor that attended. Well, apparently at this rodeo for our community, with our kids, we had a commissioner who liked to talk to the citizens, had some, I guess, derogatory things to say about other commissioners, had some disrespectful things to say to our mayor. I think that's very unprofessional, and I think that for effective public service requires professionalism, accountability, and mutual respect. Public officials should refrain from disparaging colleagues in conversations with citizens and instead of focus on constructive dialogue. Holding oneself to the same standards expected of others is essential to maintaining public confidence and trust in local government. And before criticizing others, it is important for all public officials to reflect on their own conduct. Because we know we shouldn't have to get up here and talk about people's conduct because we should be all adults here. When I say own conduct, about public arrest records and ensure that they are holding themselves to the same standards that they expect of others. And I just think it's horrible to go to a community event where we have our children and we have a commissioner saying disparaging things about the 2 commissioners that didn't attend. I just can't wrap my head around it, and I don't even understand why he would think that this is okay. And it's not you, Mr. Birdsell, so I just want, or Commissioner Birdsell, I just wanted you to know that.
I knew that wasn't me.
Okay, does anybody else want to, yeah, there were,
Oh,
I
was
think
Mr.
everybody
Grigg?
was there except Mr. Pelletier.
Well, then you were in attendance being talked about.
Pardon?
It's okay,
Yeah.
we don't need to, that's fine. Did anybody else have a comment they wanted to make? No? If not, well, I know this has been a long meeting, but I think we had a lot of good discussion on things. We passed out, city commissioner, city manager gave us a lot of information. We talked about tax information, so I think we discussed a lot of important things. So thank you all for sticking with us the whole time. I hope everybody has a good rest of the evening. What's left of a blog, I hope you go to bed. And hopefully the next meeting won't be quite as long. So we look forward to seeing you out there. Everybody have a happy 4th of July. Be careful with your fireworks. We don't want any questions.
No, no one's doing it.
Am I? So we are adjourned. Thank you all.